And we are live.
Are you sure?
Yes. Okay. Yes, we are live. But for a second there, I was like, oh my God, we can't even hear you fucking speak now because of the levels. All right.
Yeah, Mav's got me messing with my mic again. As always, my mic here, it just does not like Mav. It does not like his setup. So, anyways, welcome everybody to a fantastic start tonight on a Thursday yet again. 4 p.m. in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. I hope you're all having a fabulous week so far. But yeah, we did have a little bit of late start tonight, but I guess it's kind of normal for me and Mav, anyways. But we've been getting a little bit better, and we were both here, but freaking Mike. Anyways, listen, y'all, we got a lot to get into. We had another show today. The shows just continue rolling, Mav, and you had a great co-stream today, so we're going to definitely talk about that. We got some other news this week as well that we got to get into. But let's get to my co-host here real quick and see what he's been up to, because I know he's been playing a ton of games just like me. Because listen, Golden Age. It's just nonstop right now, man. It's not stopping for the next couple of years. So, the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network. That's right, the one and only Fun Speculation himself, aka Mav, brother from another. What have you been up to, sir? Good to see you, by the way.
Hey, it's good to see you too, man. We haven't really been able to communicate much this week,
Nope,
but we're here and we're
we
ready
are.
for PM in the PM like every Thursday. And which is awesome because we have the glory of gaming to discuss because there's just more and more games getting revealed, more and more games getting announced, games getting shown for 2025, the new game announcements, games dropping into Game Pass that just recently we found out about as well, and just the lots of stuff to look forward to coming up here in the next months also, man. I think Xbox in general is like just hitting its stride right now for the year, and it's like with a jam-packed few months, like just loading us up with just tons of stuff to play. Another show that they did today that we're going to get to talk about, and then also, there's other things going on with lots of kind of interesting conversations out there. Other things happening with studio like publishers like Bandai Namco and stuff. Is kind of interesting stuff going on there. Like there's just like the wheels keep turning in the gaming world. But yeah, man, I did try the Mech Warrior Clans,
Oh,
which
you
hit
did.
Game Pass. Yes.
Nice, nice.
And I've tried it on PC. I've tried it on console.
Okay.
Really like it, man. It's like a little Game Pass gift that I didn't even know about a couple weeks ago. They just, hey, here's this game. It's coming to Game Pass. Hey, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'll add it to my list of a million other games I want to play right now. But yeah, I didn't play too much of it, but I just kind of was testing it out and getting the feel for it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
went through the like the opening levels area. There's some kind of quirky things about it a little bit, like but overall, I thought it was a awesome time so far, and I'm looking forward to playing through that. I wish it had like I haven't unless I haven't seen it. I wish it had competitive multiplayer. It's something that would be really cool. It
Like
has PV.
competitive?
Yeah, like
Oh,
like Chrome Hounds back in the day and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
I think it'd
I
be
don't care about that shit anymore, really. So,
yeah,
but
no, it'd
yeah,
just
no, I
be
get it. I get it.
it'd be a nice addition to this
Yeah.
style of game, especially with how like the early mission that I did. I could just imagine playing that in a like competitive way, right? As well. Um, yeah, but lots of awesome stuff out there right now, man. Like Metaphor Refantasio is amazing. You got the Vessel of Hatred for Diablo 4. Been playing that. Still been playing some of my other games I've been hopping into, right? It's just awesome. Awesome year for gaming. It's only getting better. And then 2025 might be even better. Like it's I think that we are potentially on a progressive thing for 2023, 2024, and 2025 to consecutively outdo each other. But anyway, yeah.
Gonna happen.
How you been, man? Been good?
Yeah, I've been all right. Another busy week. Lots going on, but yeah, no, it's been pretty decent, man. So yeah, I've it's so dumb. I mean, I posted it, but it's just I got all these games, just Metaphor Refantasio, like you were talking about. Jumped in a little bit back into that, but I really need blocks of time for that. That's my problem is blocks of time. So that'll be coming more this weekend. But I did jump in. I did play some more Metaphor Refantasio, and it's going to be a game of the year contender for sure. It's going to be that massive seller that Atlas once again is going to capitalize on expanding their audience to Xbox and everywhere else. So Metaphor is definitely going to be the new franchise for them alongside Persona. You can see it already. This is a great game. So I've been enjoying the hell out of that, but I've got to get blocks of time. So other than that, obviously Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred. Yeah, I'm level 41 now. So not certainly not rushing through it because I don't have the time. I'm not spending, multiple hours each night playing through it. But I've been working progressively more and more into everything. I got my mercenaries opened up. I got one more mercenary I got to go open, but I've been doing that. Honestly, like there are things that obviously people have brought up that aren't perfect with this game that could use some more adjusting and that kind of stuff. I've talked about the Realm Walker before being kind of annoying. Although I love his dungeon, um, that is fun as hell. But overall, the greatest thing I could say about this expansion is I haven't touched a Helltide yet. Now
Yeah.
that's not normal. Okay, that definitely is not normal. Which means they have provided a lot more content out there, right? And so like that is cool right now. Like I haven't even had the inkling to go touch a Helltide yet. So and again, the Spiritborn class is really, really good. Is it my favorite class? No, but is it better than I ever thought it would be? Yes, and it continues to get better and better and better. And of course, I'm just loving the centipede aspect, the poison aspect. It's just right up my alley. I haven't tried any of the other aspects yet, obviously, but really good stuff there. So I'm having a blast with Diablo. But this week, I tweeted it out to remind everybody, of course, now with Mav and I having PC and a lot more people getting into PC, right? Steam Next Fest this week. And that means demos galore of indie titles.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I think I got 20 downloaded, I think, right now. There are so many high quality indie studios out here making ridiculously cool games that we don't get from the big publishers, obviously, because they can't take the risks with them. That I'm in heaven. Like this is amazing right now. And I've only played I think 4 or 5 of them. But I've got so many that I do want to try before this next fest goes away. Again, in the middle of the golden age, in the middle of this opportunity where I have all these games that I should be playing, these big games that I should be playing, that I should be putting time into. Here comes Next Fest, and I look at these games and I go, God damn, I want to try these demos, man. It's crazy, and a lot of this stuff is coming out between this year and next year.
Yeah.
If you've got a PC, you got to check out Steam Next Fest. You just have to, because there's got to be an indie game, unless you absolutely hate smaller games. You just have no interest. You have to check this out. There is so much good stuff. I played demo wise 3 different vampire survivor like games. They're all different, right?
Yeah.
They all take the vampire survivors thing in different directions. That's what's really freaking cool, right? So I've got Hordes of Hunger demo. Now, this is Vampire Survivors, except it's third person on the ground. So, and it's not an auto battler. So you have to attack. You
Right.
can parry in this too, but you are fighting hordes. And as you easily kill off the hordes, you do gain levels just like in Vampire Survivor, and you got to select which aspect or skill or whatever the case that you want to level up, just like Vampire Survivors, right? They have missions throughout this game, but it's in third person. It's on the ground. It's medieval times with fucking like zombie vampire things chasing you down, demons hunting you down through like these castle levels and stuff. It's freaking awesome. That's called Hordes of Hunger. I played that one last night. I was like, holy shit, this is good. Like I was like, damn, and it's tough. Like it's really tough. Like you got to be on your P's and Q's. The other one, Valkyrie Squad. Valkyrie Squad, what is it? Siege Breakers. There it is. Anime style Vampire Survivors, except in this
Okay.
one, It's totally cool, right? A little anime. They got great main pictures, but then you get into the game and they're like the little anime, like kid characters looking kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing, right? But they've got full blown anime on the outside, right? Looking really good. Nice job on the different costumes and the different characters and all that kind of stuff. But this one, you pick a team. And there's like right now in the demo, you have like I think 6 different anime girls to pick from, but eventually there's like 20 or 30 some. I can't remember how many I was scrolling through. As you open them up and unlock them, but you create a team of 3. And each one of them have different skills, but you got to pick out a leader as well. And your leader has an ultimate that you can wind up using. So again, just another take on Vampire Survivors that I'm having a good time with. Played that one for a bit. Looking forward to that. And then Karate Survivor.
Karate Survivor?
Bro,
The
this
names of
is
these all are awesome so far.
oh my god. Yo, Jackie Chan meets Vampire Survivors. I'm not even it's like Jackie Chan freaking movie in cartoon
Okay.
form. It's freaking awesome because Mav, this is tough. This is actually a really tough Vampire Survivors game. Okay. The way the enemies come at you and your speed, you can't just run around. You got to time your attacks because what you do is you pick out an attack, right? That becomes a slot, but that attack has a cooldown time. Then you can, as you level up, you can gain another attack that you put next to it. Then it does them in order. And it has like a string up to like 10 attacks in order. If you've got the same type of attacks in order, then you start doing combos that do extra damage. So you got to strategize how you want to place these things when you get them because you can move them around on the board. So then you have to time out your attacks because the enemies can be on top, running right into you, on top of you when you're in the middle of a kick or a punch, and you're going to get hit. So it's not like a continuous stream of bullets. Like you got to really think about this. But then also on top of that, Matt, as you level up, you also open up the ability to jump over tables. Like you're in an action movie, you start opening up the ability to like kick pails off the ground into people, like or you pick up weapons too. They got brooms, they got bats that you can pick up that you can use for a limited time until they break. This game is really good. I played that the first night and I was like, okay, this is definitely high on my list when it comes out. I'm going to be picking this one up for sure. Like I
Nice.
said, it was super challenging and different than Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors can be challenging as you get up there in the levels, but this was like out the gate challenging. You got to think, you got to really think about this one. So Karate Survivors, another good one, and then Simulacros. I got to get more time with this one. This one is a wow factor game from an indie studio. It's got a very cyberpunk-esque type neon look to it. Although you're this cybernetic kind of robot, this is a rogue-like third-person shooter game. And this is fantastic. This is like I said, you give me that neon aesthetic, this future look, and then you give me third person shooter, but I can gain different weapons and different abilities throughout in a roguelike, right? Really good stuff. And so far, the shooting and everything else is really up to par with anything that you would expect. I didn't really find too many problems with it. So again, simulacros, however you want to say it,
Mhm.
another great one. So yeah, I got more to play, but yeah, I've just been fooling around in demos, man, a lot outside of Diablo this week. But there are so many. Tribe 9, the RPG just got a new demo. I gotta play that yet. Like I said, I got like 20 of them downloaded. Just a stupid amount of games right now to play. So
Yeah. There's limitless amounts of
it
games,
is.
man.
It is.
Um, yeah, there's like I don't understand. Like I understand that there's not a lot of these games aren't for like certain kinds of gamers or
Yes,
whatever, right?
absolutely.
But
Of course.
that's the way it always is, you know. And but as far as me and what this year's delivered, it's had more kinds of games for me and all different kinds of genres of different variety than I can really remember any other year topping, especially in recent years. It's just you got the strategy games, you know, you have the JRPGs, you know, you have um like you have for the people that like Souls like games, we've had content like Shadow of the Erd Tree out there. There's just immense amounts of options for us, which is for me like what it's all about. Like we're both kind of like that. We're grazers. We like to try lots of different things. You know, we just got a good mech game randomly into Game Pass without any like long lead up or hype to it or anything like that. It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
this is coming next week. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I throw it in there. What I mean, I don't honestly know what else to do. I mean, but you're right, man. That's who we are. Like sometimes I've said it before. I wish I was that person that could create a whole identity around one or two games and just pump thousands of hours into those games. Sometimes I look at that and go, God damn, I'm really jealous of that. Not having to decide what I'm gonna play. Right? Not having that feeling like I
Yeah.
gotta go play. Like I saw you the other night start streaming Starship Troopers. You got all
Yeah.
these fucking new games too, bro, and you're out here doing Starship Troopers on all things. And I know technically it's kind of a new game, right? But I'm like, I know all that shit. Starship Troopers is what you went with. I'm like, you and me are so much alike. Man, it's fucking stupid. I'm like, oh my god,
It was so fucking fun, man. It is, dude. That game is.
I watched it. I still think Helldivers 2 looks miles and leaps ahead.
It like I think visually and like just as a game structurally is put together like in a better way, right? But like the amount of chaos I felt
I saw it was
in Starship
ridiculous.
Troopers was nuts, man. Like the 16 players running around and just craziness, dude. Everybody calling in. When you get to your base and you do like your hey, everybody build, and it's just like oh shit just starts popping up all around you. Then you got to defend this area, and then when it comes time to extract, or when somebody calls in something, like I got squashed so many different times just from something unexpected and random. But like the one thing that caught me by surprise visually though was the color. Like the explosions are amazing in that game. Like, and you have some of the big bugs, right? Some of the big ones that are like launching like huge like fireballs or like these big purple things. They have like sparkles everywhere and shit. I'm just like, man, sometimes it's a spectacle. Like if you were to choose one like to go with, I mean I would choose Helldivers 2 as far as the game. But if you like first person shooters and you prefer that style, like this is a game you could definitely go with and have a blast with and like not get sick of it. Because it was like I was surprised. I didn't expect it to run as good as it was running. I didn't expect it to feel as good as it felt. I didn't expect it to play as good as it felt, and I still felt more levels of chaos in that short time I was playing it than I ever did in Helldivers 2. It was just insane. It was insanity. Pure fucking chaos. And so Brett Bingham kind of coerced me into playing it. He kept asking about it a lot, and I was like, okay. And luckily, I was lucky enough for them to actually send me a code to try it out. So
that's
yeah, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna give this game a go, and I had a blast. I'm glad I did. It's gonna be one I'll go back to here and there. It's got quite a bit of content and unlockables and tons of stuff there as well. Pong Soul, we had a new speculator join the fun speculation train. B Martin 001 became a member today.
Ooh, wait, did he buy himself a single ticket?
Got a solo ticket.
Oh, a solo ticket. We do not discriminate around here, everybody. That's right. Welcome, Brandon Martin aboard these fun speculation.
Oh, this is not Brandon. This is B Martin. Different
B Martin.
Yeah, that's
B Martin. That was Brandon Martin. B Martin. Let's go. What was his name? Is Brandon?
It could be.
I was just psychic enough to say
there's
Brandon
another Brandon Martin in the chat usually. So
that's what I thought. So maybe that's why. Maybe we've got two Brandon Martins. Who the hell knows?
Could be Brian Martin. Could be
Brad.
Martin.
It could be Billy.
Could be Bojangles.
It could be Bojangles, right? It could be a lot of them. But no, B Martin, welcome aboard the Fun Speculation Hype Train. Thank you, sir, for dropping that little single off. Everything helps with the goal, especially when your goal for October is still over 6,000. You guys are at 6,125 tonight. Yo, what's going on, guys? What's going on? It's already October the 17th. What are you going to do? That's like 2 weeks left. That means over 3,000 a week for the next 2 weeks. I know you guys can handle it, though. So to keep us ad-free in 2024, choo-choo, motherfucker. B. Martin, welcome aboard. Buckle up, buddy. Appreciate that so much. Speaking of B's, BT Maverick, I saw earlier, by the way, before we get off the game talk, talked about he picked up Blacktail for on CD keys for $1.99 or something like that. That game is awesome, BT Maverick. I have that in my library because again, it's always on sale on key shops. You can get it for under $2 all the time. Blacktail, though, I played that demo through the ID at Xbox about 2.5 years ago now, 3 years ago before it ever came out. I talked about it. You can go back to those old shows and probably find me talking about Blacktail. That game it's so atmospheric. The mythology that they put in it is so cool. I can't wait to play it. Again, it's in my library with all my other games, but someday you'll probably see me randomly streaming it when I become a streamer full-time of randomness. You'll see me go back to Blacktail, and everybody out of my 100,000 followers people live in chat will be like, what the hell is Blacktail? Where'd you find this game? And I'll be like, oh, you guys don't know.
Yeah.
Watch for that someday. But yeah, no, that is a great call, BT Maverick. Blacktail is super dope. BT Maverick also with the $5 says, how much would it cost to get Pong to play stream live the Silent Hill 2 remake? You can't. I mean, I've got a price, but you can't. There's nothing that you guys could do.
$1,000 Pong?
Nope.
$10,000 Pong? $100,000? Oh, we're sorry. That one's got him.
100 might do it.
$100,000. Okay.
$100,000 to watch me stream Silent Hill. Yeah, I'll finish the game for 100,000. So,
yeah, let's get a Kickstarter going, everybody. Let's go.
Yeah, 100,000 to see me play. Oh my God, man. Hey, we also got another new member. That's right, the one and only God Emperor Sofa King also bought himself a little single ticket to the fun speculation hype train. Welcome aboard, God Emperor. Always in our chats. Appreciate you being here. Again, your goal, even with extra credit right now, for that is 6,120 still for the remaining 2 weeks of October to keep us ad-free in 2024. So you guys better get to work. But we're moving along. We are now at Mach 3.0 for those 2 single tickets bought today. Buckle up, God Emperor Sofa King, as you are always welcome aboard the speculation hype train.
And
welcome.
For that, we have...
You motherfucker.
Choo choo, choo choo, ha 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 ha.
Very, very nice. Oh yeah, I saw Pixel Slappa in here too. Pixel Slappa, he came walking in here and said, "Anybody around here play some games?" Wrong channel, bro. Wrong channel. You got to be able to go to some of those PlayStation channels if you want to hear people talking about playing games, right?
Or you could go to some of the channels where people talk about that there's nothing to play this year.
Oh yeah, you can find those people too that say 2024 sucks.
There's a lot of those.
Year. Yeah, there are some of that. That's the new meta. Right? That's the new meta. There's a couple metas floating around on how you get people into engage. One of the metas is just to say that 2024 sucks for gaming and that AAA gaming is cooked. That's another one that everybody's running with now too.
Man, what are we playing though, man? Like because we haven't run out of games to play. I don't have enough time to play all the games I want. Like there's literally several games I am neglecting that I just can't get to that are added to this like forever persistent backlog that I know will I ever get to play it? And it seems like every week almost there's like something new revealed or something that I'm like, well, I won't have time to play that either probably, but it looks awesome and I wish I could because holy shit, I want to play that. But you know what? It's also coming out the same month as this other thing and this other thing and this other thing. And it's also, I know I won't be done with this and this and this and this. And I already know there's like 1,000 other games. I was looking through my game collection in my library for like the other day, like through just the games I own, through Game Pass, through like EA Play, through all this stuff. What am I gonna? I could literally not have a new game released for 3 years. Like the industry could literally just fucking shut down for maybe even longer than that for years.
Well, you and I with RTS as a strategy, for literally forever.
I would not run out of stuff to play that I have put on the back burner.
Correct.
Like even if I took like, let's say like a game a week, right? And it's like I'm just gonna play one game a week. there is years worth of games that are amazing that I want to play that I don't have fucking time to because there's always something else, man. It's insane. There's literally some of these games I've streamed or some of these games I've touched on recently, some of the games I've grazed is like, well, I could spend 1,000,000 hours in this,
Yep.
but I don't
Nope.
because there's something else that I want to get to, and then there's something else after that that I want to get. Like, it's crazy, man. I'm so like, for me, I look at the gaming industry and like the amount of games that are releasing. The only problem I see is there's just too much competition for our time.
Yeah.
Like there's just this amount, immense amounts of competition for our time where they're releasing so many games and so many of genres and some of them are oversaturated and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like, there you see why you have so many failures out there with the gaming industry and stuff. It's just because there's so many games that are worth playing for so long, right? You can call them black hole games or whatever, but it's not even just the games of servicey or free to play games or anything like that either. Like there's literally still people that just play Elden Ring every day, right? Or that play like something like RTS, like us, like Age of Mythology. You could just play that for hundreds and hundreds of hours, right? Starfield.
Look at how long you and I have put into one match on Aura.
Yes.
One match.
One.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
neither one of us are close to being done either.
Or you could say, okay, Call of Duty. I just sit there and play Call of Duty for months if you want to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like this, because they're all worthy of the amount of time, you know. So it's like, it's just crazy to see the amount of options that we have now, and I think in general, like, it's hard to ignore all the negativity, you know, that's out there. But it's also something it's like I don't want to continue to give it that much attention because then you're feeding into it in one way or another, when for me it's not the reality of the situation, right? It's not the reality that we're living in. It's a perceived reality that is for many people. But this show and this channel and all of our shows here are about speaking from our experiences, right? Speaking from our points of view, speaking about the things that we're interested in, the games that we play, and kind of, and if people feed off of that, then that's cool. If they don't want to, that's cool too. But I just don't want to feed into the negativity that much, you know? Because it can kind of put a damper on things, right? And
it can. There's some stuff that we have to talk about that we do talk about, right?
Yeah.
There's some major stuff that we do.
Oh, major like news
yeah,
and
the
all
major
that,
news and that kind of, because that stuff is really happening and it's going on.
Yes.
And it's not always pretty in this industry. This industry is by no means close to being perfect. Again, we got Suits and Money Man running the big publishers, right? So there's always going to be negativity. There's always going to be issues within the industry. But yeah, from your standpoint, I know what you're talking about, Mav. As far as just being a gamer, and the games that we are getting, that's our channel, and pretty much everybody on our shows are in the boat that this is some of the best time ever. Even if not everybody agrees that it's the golden age all the damn time like me, but it's close to it. And again, that we all agree that, man, if you're not enjoying yourself right now, I don't know what would get you to enjoy it. And if it's something like, I don't know, it's something like anti-cheat, like de novo or whatever the hell that causes performance issues that stops you from liking games. Like, that's when I go, man, I just don't know about people like that. Like it feels like you're searching for something to find for a reason that you can come out here and say that gaming is shit. And that's when I go, I bet
it's always something about something. It's always.
And I bet you're gaming behind the scenes. I bet those people, the vast majority of those people, that even the ones that come out and say, this is why I still play retro games, I almost guarantee you that they are playing current games and that they still enjoy a lot of current games. But that's obviously not going to get them engagement. That's not going to get them discussion. That's where I kind of go, I just don't know, man. I definitely understand that people have different likes and interests, and that not everybody's going to like AA or indie. Not everybody's going to like RTS. Not everybody's going to like horror. Not everybody's going to be like Souls-like or RPG. But no matter who you are, no matter what type of game you do enjoy, you are getting so many from so many different areas. Like there's not a genre underrepresented right now that I can think of, unless somebody's going to pull some random thing. Maybe dance, maybe rhythm-based dance games aren't all the rage anymore, or Guitar Hero type games, right? Instrument games. But for the most part, whatever type of gamer you are getting more content than you ever have before. And I have a hard time believing that there is not a good amount that are appealing to you in some way. I have a hard time with that. I do. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some people are only focused on one type of genre, one type of game, and if it's a weak year for that, then it's like there's nothing to play. This year sucks. Like there's what's happened to the industry and everything. It sucks. Like I can't look at things like that. Like even if it's something that I'm not into, I can still look at it and be like, wow, that was awesome that the people that are into that got that great game. And that's still another check mark for how awesome this year is for gaming, even if it's not a game that's really necessarily for me. Like, we talk about how like Shadow of Erdtree was a huge thing for the Elden Ring Souls and Souls players and stuff this year, and how it added to this year. Or like Black Myth Wukong and how amazing it was for the types of gamers that like that, or Astrobot and stuff. Like, yeah, for people that like these kinds of that like these specific games or whatever, hey, that's amazing, and it's another check mark for the how awesome the year is. Those are the games don't do anything for me, right? Like eventually I'll probably play them later because I like to check things out, but it's not because those games exist and there was effort put into them and time and money and they didn't make something else instead. It's not a loss, right? I still have other games to play that are for me, and I focus and talk about more about the things that I'm interested in and that I like to play, right? So if you don't see me being negative all the time about games, it's because I'm not wasting my time on shit I don't like. I already have an idea of what kind of gamer I am and what kind of games I like to play. So I'm not going to go and be like, well, I'm going to go try this shitty game. I'm not interested in this. I'm going to go force myself to play it because other people are talking about it. Like, what kind of miserable life would that be? Yeah, I don't need to go around and try and fit into other people's idea of what a gamer is. I just know what kind of games I like and play them. And if I play them more than some, I play less on some, right? It's fine because I'm always playing games and looking forward to the next thing. And I don't know. The negativity around the industry can be very, it can be very, very contagious, right? It can be contagious. Just like positivity can be contagious. Conversations can be contagious. You could look at how somebody says that this thing sucks. So now when I play it, I'm going to notice that and make sure I pay extra attention of it because, does that affect your experience? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But overall, who are you playing the games for? You're playing for your own enjoyment, or are you playing to judge them? Right? I play games to enjoy them. I don't play games to look for something wrong with it. And if I see something that's not interesting to me to begin with, my focus is somewhere else because there's a shit ton of games out there for lots of different people.
All facts right there. By the way, yes. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. I just, like you said, it can be contagious. And I think in this day and age of social media and just where we're at, obviously people are always looking to be a part of the conversation. That's why hate trains start up. That's why it just becomes like easy for people to jump on and just, complain about everything and any little thing, right? There's really good conversations to be had. There's some big issues out there that always need to be brought up, and certainly you can have conversations, but there is a lot of that little tiny stuff, like you said, Mav, that just seems to get in the way of people's fun.
It's like, you're at like a party or get together or something, and you're having this conversation with a guy, like, or whatever. Hey, yeah, I saw this movie last week. It was awesome. Yeah, it was like whatever. Yeah, this happened. Yeah, I really like that movie too. Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. And then you go around and migrate to a different conversation, right? And then that same person walks over, you're talking this conversation with this other guy. This other guy's like, yeah, I didn't really like it too much because, like, the actor was with and then you see that guy be like, yeah, me neither. I thought that movie was trash. And it's like
the guy that follows it.
Was it the guy I just talked to over there that just said this was awesome? You know, he's over here telling this other guy that is trash. You know, like literally, we've all been in that situation where we've seen the people just completely change their opinion of based on who it is they're talking to and wanting to be cool, right? Oh, you can't be too cool. You know, you can't be too nerdy. You can't be too geeky. You can't like this kind of stuff. You gotta be like, hey, relax. You gotta be chill. You gotta be able to just separate yourself and from the emotion and just judge everything for what it is, right? Like we gotta look at it and say, like, you know, it's not up to par, right? Everything. I don't get that mentality, man. I watch stuff, I play stuff for the enjoyment of it. And yeah, not everything's gonna be awesome, but guess what? When it's not, I fucking move on to the next thing.
Yep. That's a good way to do it, man.
Anyway.
Good way to attack anything nowadays, right? If you aren't just
now, if I spend money on something that shit's broken, you'll hear me. Like I will complain.
Yeah,
if I buy something and the shit's broken, I will fucking complain.
There'll be a Mavcast with a Mav rant.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh shoot. Mav, should we get to the chat here real quick and then jump off? Do we have any super chats that you need to catch up on?
Yeah, we're good. We caught up, man.
Cool. Let's get this chat shouted out, and then we'll get on to the main part of the show. Of course, the one and only Pixel Slapper's in here. What's up, Pixel Slapper? It's Timmy. It's Timmy's in here. We got the Solid White 731. What's going on, Solid White? Thank you for being a part of the show. We got Mackie in here. Facts. It's simple-minded to criticize from the sidelines. Shout out to you, Mackie. We got E-Ranks in the house. What's going up, E-Ranks? We got Prince Green in here. E-Ranks, by the way, said it's so much more cool to not like something these days, I guess. Yeah, a lot of that time. The hate train is real, bro. It is. It goes both ways. Again, there's people that get overly hyped about stuff too, and they haven't, you know, again, it's just because everybody else is and they want to be a part of the conversation. But yes, nowadays for sure, negativity pays the bills. That's
it's infectious, man. Both ways.
It's happened all the time, but negativity does carry. It really does.
That's why the news and all that shit, like it just lead with all.
They learned. It's been proven. It's been psychologically proven. Right? That negativity feeds, right? People like negativity. That's why I try to stay away from it as much as possible. It sucks your energy out, man. That's just the way it is, man. Pause. Wilfrey Rosario's in here. What's going on, Wilfrey? He says social media should just go down for like 1 year. Jesus, you know what? I'd agree to that, actually. I would agree to that. It would be dope as hell. As long as I could stay in contact with all these freaking amazing people and you guys in the chat and stuff, as long as I still had the fam around and I could talk to them, and we still had like Xbox Live and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Let's just cancel out all social media for a year and let everybody detox. That would be a ridiculous experiment across the globe, man. It'd be crazy to see what happens. Danny Passion Official is in here. What's going on? We got the Def Leopard in the house. What's going on, Def? Poison Maniac is in here. What's going on, Poison? We got that Ghost Fixter. What's going on, Ghost Fixter? Thank you for being a part of the show as well. Let me see if I can. Why is my stuff going crazy? Okay, there we go. Who else we got in here? We got the BT Maverick 707. What's going on, brother? We got JB 1521. What is happening, JB? We got Calorie. What's going on, Calorie? Great to see you. He says somebody who lived in a third world country, which was a remote island with no internet for a few years. Calorie, someday you have to write a book about your adventures, sir. You surprise me sometimes, man. Which had no internet for a few years. I just keep my backlog for the apocalypse so that I have something to do. Just need solar. LOL. That's freaking great. Yes.
When I spent 3 years in Bangkok, I really had some adventures, bro. You know, like
Calorie seems like one of those dudes that's traveled the entire globe and just doesn't really talk about it all the time. He does. Who else we got in here? We got the True Serum in here. What's going on, True Serum? Great to see you. We got the Crippling DET. I wonder if that's detective. Are you the Crippling Detective? What's going on, Crippling or Detroit? Which one? Great to see you, Crippling. Thank you for being a part of the show as well. We got Coach Hooded Canuck. What's going on, Coach? Great to see you. We got the Verg-based Brizzle in the house. What's going on, Verg? Let's see. Who else? Scroll up here, I think. God, Emperor Sulfa King. What's going on, brother? We got the Ray Oid, of course, in the house. We got the Spitin 13. What's going on, Spitin? Thank you for being a part of the show tonight and dropping on by. Who else we got here? We got the B Martin 001. Oh, he did confirm it's Brad. Okay, thanks, Brad. I won't say that a lot, but I was not right. I was not right. I was hoping I got lucky with the Brandon, but I did not. Cyber Gunter, I see you. What's going on, Cyber? Great to see you jumping in here, brother. Thank you for being a part of the show. Dion Hayes, what's going on? He says, I thought the Xbox Showcase was awesome. A lot of different games for a lot of different people. That's the difference that Xbox is trying to make. Something we've talked about consistently is the diversity of Xbox's portfolio, including their third-party partnerships. It is something that is unique to them. It is very special. Not to say that Sony doesn't have it, not to say that Nintendo doesn't have diversity. It's just different, man. It's just different. And you can see it in their showcases. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to jump right into that Xbox partner program or partner preview here in just a few minutes. Who else we got in here tonight? Scrolling up. Who did I miss? Anybody here? You guys are talking too much. Guys, look at all you guys. I already got Solid White. We got Sin, of course, is in the house. Says howdy, folks, and fellow graybeards. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's as far back as I can go. If I didn't, Alvin, I see you jumping in here, Alvin. Great to have you as always, sir, joining the show tonight. If I did not see your name because I can't go all the way back to the beginning, that is okay. We still love you and nothing but respect for you joining us. And if you jump in the bottom real quick, I will try to get you. But otherwise, thanks for being here on another Thursday night of PM in the PM. Pong and Mav in the PM. So yeah, Mav, let's get down to business here. We had the partner preview, the Xbox partner preview, the second one of the year. If I'm not mistaken, we had one back in March. Is that not correct, sir?
Yeah, we had something in March. Was it a partner preview?
I think it's a partner preview in March as well. So this is that new look Xbox, right?
Yeah.
This is that Tina Amini and her crew just crushing out of the park with so much content that Xbox has to showcase. It's something we talked about for years in the lead up to all of this when they were acquiring things left and right. This was going to be necessary for them to get to. But the partner preview, man, what a great format. I heard you talk about it a little bit today too, Matt.
Yeah.
I like how they do the 3 or 4 games and then they do a quick recap screen showing you what they just showed. And then they move, forward and it just keeps rolling. Again, no interruptions whatsoever, just straight up trailer. Again, hats off to Tina Amini. Again, I've given her flowers consistently here over the past 2 years. I will continue to do so. She's one of the best hires Xbox has ever had. Hands down. This girl knows what she's doing. So yeah, I thought this was a really, really good show. So we're going to talk about it here. I know you already did today, Mav, obviously. I will say this is the first Xbox show in quite a long time where the games weren't for me. Of course, there's a couple in here, right? But most of them are ones that we already saw. The new stuff, none of it was for me. But like you, Mav, and everybody here knows it, that we're both very similar in this aspect. I still see games that aren't for me and go, God damn, that looks so dope. Like, that's cool. Glad everybody's loving it. So this is a rare showcase where I don't come out of it with a lot saying, oh yeah, this is now on my list, which again, just talking about our backlogs, just talking about what's coming. We're going to talk about the Stalker 2 stuff here in a little bit. Again, we've got more than enough. I'm not sad that there wasn't anything really here for me. But man, horror fans and Souls-like fans, I don't ever want to hear you guys say ever again that you guys aren't eating good, okay? You guys are beyond. Like Mav and I talk about RTS as a strategy right now. Horror and Souls-like, you guys are getting fed almost like on a monthly basis at this point. Like, it's dumb how many games are coming out for you all. You already know for me, we ain't doing either one of those, but my God, you guys are getting some cool stuff. So Mav, let's jump into this. And this is actually, I think Eurogamer actually did it in order. I love it when they do it in actual proper order. So I watched this back when I got home. I watched your co-stream, Mav, as much as I could. Then I came back home and I did watch the full part. It was only 28 minutes or something like that. So I did watch the whole show back, and watched it all in 4K. So it looks, I got a good look at these games too myself. So we started out with, Mav, I'm just gonna have you jump in on any of these that you want to jump in on. Okay. And then we'll talk about the whole show in general at the end. Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC. This is the second DLC for Alan Wake 2 fans, which is dope to see, obviously. Remedy doing their stuff over there. This is coming out October the 22nd. And boy, oh boy, again, I love the first Alan Wake, folks. The first Alan Wake was psychological horror. What they've done with Alan Wake 2 and why I will never touch this game, this DLC, I was like instantly like, yeah, no. No, they have gone so horror, which is dope. Again, horror is big now. A lot of people love horror games. But man, oh man, have they leaned into that. Look pretty good, though. Look pretty good, I got to say, from a story standpoint. If I was going to watch this like a movie, this would be pretty cool. Like, it looks pretty damn cool. So, Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC, October 22nd. Mav, got anything on Alan Wake? I don't think you played Alan Wake 2.
This is crazy because we bought Alan Wake 2.
I thought you did.
Soon after it came out.
Yeah.
And we have never launched it.
It's in there. Yeah.
It's just like
it's still in the wrapping.
It's one of those games that I was excited to play, then something else got my attention and just like never went back to it. Talked about it numerous times. Like, I just really want to get to it at some point, but there's just always something keeping me in my way. And I think it's because when I know when I play it, I want to take my time and actually experience the whole thing. I don't want to graze it. You know, like I want to play through and experience the whole game from beginning to end. But now I'll be able to have this extra content for it at some point.
Have everything.
Right?
You got all the patches. Everything's going to be great. Again, single player games, as Steve always says. Hold off. You get the best experience. It's good shit. So
yeah.
But yeah, no. Love that they're still supporting it. Again, Remedy is freaking fantastic with their support of their games. They always do. So.
Shout out to Marty McFly. He says, I never get my shout out. Is it because my name is Gray? Is there discrimination here?
What? Marty McFly, I know I shouted you out on one of our shows last week. I guarantee, because I remember your name. I did not see it. I apologize. Marty McFly, welcome to PM and the PM, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. We do appreciate you. Nothing but love and respect. I'm not skipping you. Not skipping you. Fuzzy Tomato, I see you in here too. Not Fuzzy Belvedere, but Fuzzy Tomato too.
If you don't type in the chat, also, like, we don't know you're necessarily if you're there or not, right?
I can't go all the way back. Yeah, Mr. Waffles, I see you in here. Masshole 1977. See, people pop in here now. I just can't go back far enough a lot of the time to see everybody, Marty. So people talk so much in here. What's going on? That I miss a lot of people and I can't scroll all the way back.
We only shout out the green names.
Yeah, the green name. Oh my god,
that would be so bad.
We're gonna be like other channels pretty soon, guys. Expect that next week. Since we're so far from our goal, we're only gonna shout out paying.
That's the next tier.
That's it. If you want your name shouted out, you better super chat or you better join a membership. Of course, we're just fucking okay. So we're not gonna do that shit. Anyways, let's see here. What else? Okay, next up, surprise, Mav. Surprise, Bloober team just launched Silent Hill 2. All of a sudden, the trailer starts. It's totally something new, not something we've seen before. And all of a sudden, the Bloober team name pops up on like, excuse me? Bloober's rocking out right away. Like, Silent Hill 2 just came out, rave reviews, obviously did a ton of work on it. I heard you talk about it again today, Mav. Early previews, early looks at Silent Hill 2. Everybody was down on it, going, I'm going to play it because it's Silent Hill 2, but it looks like we got another Bloober. Now, remember, folks, I'm a Bloober apologist. I think Bloober's got a lot of talent, even though most of their games are not going to be for me, especially now that they know how they do horror. Again, the medium was psychological. I can do that. But Silent Hill 2? Oh, God, no. I've seen some of the shit that happens in Silent Hill 2. The original I could play. I did play the original. This? Hell no. But I've always said that Bloober's got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
They just need to keep working. They've improved every game, and I love that. Well, all of a sudden, they come out with a second game out of the gate after Silent Hill 2, ready to show it. And so I was like, what is this? And then we got this BioShock-esque stuff going on, the dude in the deep diving suit, but it's kind of Dead Spacey. I heard you say that too, Mav. I was like, oh, shit. Some of the undead creature, whatever you want to call them, they definitely had that Dead Space look to them. And then you got the old lady playing with the dude in chess. Like, I was like, okay, Bloober. And then obviously right away I could tell. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's not going to be for me. But I was watching it. Bloober has taken that step up. With Silent Hill 2 now turning out the way that people are claiming it has, and I've watched some of it. Again, there's still some okay, they could be better at some of these animations, like the running. Some of the combat could be a little bit better animation wise, but like they are learning and they are stepping up. This looks like another evolution. Of course, I got to give you the name too. I haven't even said the name. Cronos, the New Dawn, right? Cronos. We'll go with Cronos. Cronos, the New Dawn, was the game announced today for 2025. In fact, so it's going to be coming supposedly next year. Again, we'll wait and see. But the early launch time is 2025. Mav, what'd you think about Cronos: The New Dawn?
It looked awesome. I actually like that they showed a little bit of the gameplay snippet at the end there. We're seeing that right now on the screen, and it looked really cool, man. Like Bloober, what I gave them criticism when we saw the first footage of Silent Hill 2 remake, and I was like, what the hell, right? Like I was just like, didn't look good, and I kind of still in my mind wish they could have done like more of the Resident Evil level complete remake, but it seems like Silent Hill 2 is awesome. A lot of people really liking it. From all the footage I've seen of it now and how it looks, I think it looks absolutely awesome. They did a great job with it. So this is on the heels of that. I think it's kind of elevating their kind of studio, and they have kind of ascended in a way, I think, with Silent Hill 2 to be more of a, hey, look at what we did, right? Kind of, and this is their chance now for a new IP on the heels of that, right? So this being a new IP coming to Xbox, and I don't know when it's coming out. Did they say
2025? That was it.
Yeah. So overall, it's just like cool, man. It's the one that I want to see more of. Graphics from that look good. It did give me when I was streaming earlier. I said like it gave me like a Big Daddy vibe from BioShock mixed with Dead Space, and then also like a little Kojima elements in there because he had like the thing on the shoulders moving around, and at the end he had like the little tentacly spider looking things come off of his arm or whatever, and it's just like off kilter kind of designs and stuff. And then you have all the organic, like human disheveled creature things everywhere. So that's also a little Dead Spacey slash Scorn in some ways as well, if you want to give a reference to that. Like there's just a lot of cool things there. But yeah, the little snippet at the end that actually showed the gameplay has me intrigued for sure.
I mean, that's dope. I think the biggest thing for Bloober now is after Silent Hill 2, people are going to be anticipating this game, right?
Yeah.
Now that they've proven themselves with Silent Hill 2, which is a really diehard fan base that they just proved themselves to, right? Whereas before, people would have been like, oh, it's Bloober. We've heard that time. Oh, it's Bloober. Oh, great.
Yeah,
we did when they first announced that they were going to do Silent Hill 2 remake. It was like, oh, great. Bloober, out of all people, you give him Bloober. Like, that's what people used to think. Now that they've proven themselves, man, people are going to be anticipating this game. If this game comes out with the quality of Silent Hill 2, now it's not going to have the same effect because that's nostalgia. That's one of the classic horror games that everybody's been waiting for a remake on that finally hit. So that gave it a little extra oomph as well. But obviously, if they show that same level of quality and a step up again with this game, a brand new IP, Bloober is going to become that household horror dev studio. Mm-hmm. They are going to be known now. Like, again, everybody's not going to remember their Blair Witch, right? Not everybody's going to remember the complaints that people had with the medium, even though I enjoyed the game. People are not going to remember any of the previous stuff that gave them kind of this, oh, it's Bloober. They're going to now be known as a great horror studio. And this is what you want to see. It's what I love about this industry. When
they've ascended.
Yes, they ascend, they learn, they grow together, and they take those next steps forward. And this is what's happening with them right
now. So, shout out to Crippling Debt with the $5 super chat. Says, through compounding interest, this will take me roughly a year to pay off, but my name's pronounced Crippling Debt Pong.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
Xbox only allows 12 now.
Thank you, Crippling Debt. I appreciate you spending $5 telling me that. You never have to do that. You could have said it in the chat. Either Mav and I would have seen
it. What did you call him earlier?
DET.
Oh,
I said, is it Detroit? Yeah, I said, is it Detroit?
You thought it was like a wrestling thing, maybe?
Oh no,
Or
no!
like,
I thought it was just I thought it was could be
okay.
detective. I thought it could be Detroit. Like I didn't know. I thought it was initials or something. I didn't know he was going with debt with DEBT. Like I didn't even think of it that way. But thank you,
Yeah.
crippling debt. I should have thought of that. You are absolutely correct. I should
Well,
have.
we appreciate you going into more crippling debt with the $5 super chat.
Choo
Crippling
choo,
debt.
motherfucker. Choo choo.
Yes.
Choo choo. Appreciate the $5. But again, you don't have to do that shit either. That's never expected, man. So, but thank you. All right. So that was Cronos, The New Dawn. And then, man, we got kind of a shadow drop of an early access game called Blind Fire. This is a first person action shooter that had like where the twist is, right? That you have no lights.
Yeah.
Okay. That the lights have been taken away and you're basically firing in the dark, except for like, obviously they had a whole area that was in black light. So outlines of people were lighting up. There was writing on the walls. Like it was super dope. It was like some freaking club, some absolute freaking manic club action looking. And everybody was firing with pistols, which I think must be a part of it as well. They're not going to have like big weapons. I don't know. Again, is it something I'm gonna jump into? No, it's not. But did it look cool? And do I always love when people jump into these extremely crowded genres and try things? Abso-freaking-lutely. Take that chance. You never know what's gonna hit. Looked interesting, right? It had a cool twist with the darkness that not everybody has. So I thought this one was like, it showed really well. I thought for coming out of the blue and then, early access, go ahead and play it on Xbox today and PC today. So yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah. I thought it looked pretty awesome. I looked at it on, in the store, it's like $8.99 for the early access version.
Oh, okay.
So it's a weird price, like $8.99. But yeah, it's
little bump. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not much to give it a go if you're interested in it. I didn't read too much more, but this is what it says. It says it's well, it doesn't even say too much here either.
No.
I was trying to figure out if this is a pure multiplayer game or if this is more single player. Like
it was definitely multiplayer.
Right.
The way they showed the characters at the end.
But that's the only thing that, like, before when I saw the footage, it kind of reminded me of like one of those games where you go through the level and try and see if you get the highest score, and you're timed, right? Kind of like what was the game made back in the day? It was made by Bizarre Creations, actually. You run through the level and you're like shooting stuff, and then like you get to the end and you're like scored on it. It kind of reminded me of like maybe something like that at first, but then we saw all the characters at the end. I was like, oh, is this multiplayer, right? So I don't know. I got to read more about it, but it doesn't. It says
it's called The Club. Is that what you're talking about, Matt? The Club?
Yeah, The Club. Yeah,
I remember
The Club?
that game.
Yeah. So it says, so what happens in an FPS set entirely in inky black arenas? Blind Fire is here to answer that question. The fascinating new idea from Double 11 got a world premiere in Shadow Drop during partner previews, showing off how you'll need to use tools, traps, and echolocation to seek out your targets in this fast-paced shooter. So it still doesn't really say there, but I think it's probably a multiplayer thing. If anybody's tried it in the chat, let me know. What is it exactly?
Yeah, let us know. Let's see here. Up next, Sega's just kicking ass and taking names right now. Them and Capcom are the two most prolific Japanese publishers right now. Because again, we'll talk about Bandai Namco here in a little bit, and some of the troubles they're going through, even though they've had some success. They are obviously not in a great place, as these two are. So Sega and Capcom, but Sega, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Oh, that's right. They keep spinning off this series into some wild stuff, which is Yakuza, right? Yakuza, if you guys have played Yakuza, like, yes, they have very serious moments. They have wild, wacky shit too. And these spin-offs have been freaking amazing doing that kind of stuff, right? This one looks ridiculous. Like, again, of course, this with what's the guy's name? Ryu, right? Ryu. Crazy Ryu. So this looks cool. And I was watching this trailer because they focused on the ship combat map. And I watched this trailer back again. And I said, you know what is going to be fucking hilarious? Is that Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is going to pull off better pirate ship combat than Skull and Bones. Watch this. Watch this.
Did you see it?
Yes.
It looked awesome.
It looks freaking, and you can battle ship to ship. You can board the other ship.
Yep.
Bro, I was watching it. I was like, dude, this looks so great. And I was watching the ship combat. And I'm like, oh my God, they are actually going to show Skull and Bones what they should have done. Like, this is going to be hilarious. Yeah. But no, this game, we've seen it plenty. It's coming out February. In fact, they just, what they did in this trailer is coming out a week earlier in February because we already know how full February is, everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
about this one, they moved this back a week, 21st for this one now. So, so Yakuza Like a Dragon Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii looks fantastic. What can I say? It's going to be one that I have on my wish list forever that I'm going to pick up on sale someday and play it, just like the other Yakuzas. It's just so dope. But man, it just looks better and better each time. It really does.
Yeah, man. It was I was really surprised by the ship combat. It looked like Black Flag, kind of, right? It looked like, okay, this is what we wanted Assassin's Creed to do, and we wanted Ubisoft to do, is spin off Black Flag into its own thing. But like they're taking the craziness of the Yakuza franchise and spinning it off into this. And the ship combat looks awesome. They have the ship boarding. They have all the other stuff, and you know it's already going to be a fun, good story because it's a Yakuza game as well, right? So, and shout out to just the developers and the whole teams over there. What a good job they're doing with the franchise in general, right? Like we criticize like certain companies for not doing enough or expanding universes or doing this and that. Like Yakuza, it's like every year seemingly there's something cool or awesome to look forward to if you're a Yakuza fan, and it's all different, and they're doing different things with it, different genres, telling different stories. There's more serious ones, there's less serious ones. Each one that's still pushing forward in some ways, and they're moving up the date. They said because hey, the development is going better than expected, and also we wanted to get to the gamers as soon as possible. Like how crazy is that to hear in this day and age? That hey, we're ahead of schedule. Like in general, like they're cooking over there. They know what they're doing. They have a great formula with making these games, and you can't say they're all the same. It's not cookie cutter making the same thing over and over again either, right? So, just a good job for Sega and the Yakuza teams for making all this content. It is like a universe that I really also, this is one of the things I tell you is like on my list of things, but like I just am so into all these other things, I just don't have time for it, right? Like I could literally spend a year playing all the Yakuza games, and I could be completely happy. And also I wouldn't get sick of it because there's so many different varieties within the games also, right? I played quite a bit of Like a Dragon, and I fell in love with it. It was so awesome, man. But like that's the only one I've really spent a good amount of time with. There is so much to look forward to in that franchise, and you know that the next year is going to be something else, and then this next year they're going to announce something else, and the games are going to keep doing well, and they're going to keep evolving and changing and doing fun things with great stories. And yeah, just props to them. Good job.
Absolutely. And again, that was part of them developing and cultivating a new fan base, right?
Yeah, because they're releasing their games everywhere now, right?
Yep, absolutely. Next game. This has been on my high to play list at when it comes out, and it's coming out in 2025. From the moment I saw it, as an old dude who always when he played video games said, "Man, wonder if one day we're gonna play games like the cartoons." To see this game again, man, I love this. And I love everything about it because they have captured that 1920s, 1930s Mickey Mouse feel completely. And that's, of course, is Mouse PI for Hire. I can't wait for this game to come out. I really can't. It's not going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to look at it the same way. But man, for them to pull this off, like I heard you mention Cuphead. Again, Cuphead's not a game that I would
Yeah.
ever play because it's too difficult. And again, I just won't bang my head against that wall. But I loved all of the aesthetic that had to go into Cuphead, right? They copied all the old cartoons to a T, and it was beautiful. It was just such a beautiful, cool concept that they pulled off 1000%. I think they're going to pull this off too. Mouse PI for Hire looks fantastic, man. I can't get enough of it. I think it's so dope.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It's not one like I'm like personally just super excited for, but I love the originality of it. I like it looks like it's going to be kind of hard, like just from watching the gameplay as well. It looks like it's going to be like, hey, they're not going to hold back on this. They're going to take that kind of more like old school. The difficulty is the replayability approach here, as well as kind of just my glimpse at it from seeing the gameplay. I think they're trying to get that across with some of the footage that they showed. Looks awesome, man. It looks really cool. But we'll see. It's one I might play, might not. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I totally get it. Like I said, it's not gonna be for everybody, but for me, it's gonna be high on my list
Yeah.
next year. I can't wait to get down to it, man. Then we got another announcement for early access as well. I love seeing more games doing this early access stuff. We've talked about this. I think it's important. With the way the industry is right now, it can certainly be really helpful. But this was a cool one too for the fan base that is already out there. Again, not for me, but Subnautica 2 did get announced here as well, and that is coming to a Game Pass as well, right? With early access, I believe I got that right.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Next year
In 2025, looks really more Subnautica. That team, I played Subnautica when it was in Game Pass. Understand the concept, totally think it's cool. There's some really beautiful stuff to it as well. Understand perfectly why it has a fan base. That survival, but underwater mostly, is really cool concept. So I'm happy for all the Subnautica fans because they've been waiting on this. To be able to get early access through Game Pass is going to be huge, not only for the fans and for us that I certainly will download it and try it since it's in Game Pass. I'm going to check it out. But for the devs themselves, they're going to have a nice big player base giving them feedback on Subnautica 2 as well. And a lot of them will be the original fans, which always helps developers to see where they're steering wrong a little bit or where they're hitting with the old fans as well as the new fans coming in, kind of giving their own perspective. But Subnautica 2 looks cool. Again, it was all CGI trailer, no gameplay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Mav, anything on Subnautica 2?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, it's a sequel to a game that a lot of people liked, and I'm sure they'll look forward to. And it's going to be in Game Pass day and date, and it's going to be in early access. So that's awesome.
It is. I guess there's really not much else you could say right there. Then next up is a small indie game with a crazy, weird. I heard you because I wasn't watching at the time. But I heard the whole thing of the kind of the talk, talking over of the trailer with shadows and everything was shadows, and it was kind of funny. And then you said it sounded like 3-bit with his country accent when he does that. And actually, when I started listening to it, I'm like, yeah, it does kind of sound like 3-bit, fake freaking accent. Anyways, that of course is Animal Well. Now, this game, for anybody does not know, huge hit on PC. Okay, this is 91 Metacritic. Okay, so this is a game that's been out. It's finally dropping on Xbox. It's available on Xbox today. So if you are in, I don't even know, is this a Metroidvania platformer? I can't even remember.
No idea, but it looks cool.
It looks cool. Again, I won't do it because it's all platforming. But it is a 91 Metacritic. So if you look like these smaller games, older school bit style to them, but really unique, this is a game that's rave reviews, right? So Animal Well out today for Xbox Series S and X. Then we got a new anime game, Mav. And this again new. This is manga that I have not watched, read, or anything else. I have not touched this. So I saw this. So I'm like, holy shit, what is this? And I'm like, oh, cool. Eden Zero. And at first I thought it was a fighting game because I could only glance at it while you were watching it. And then I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh, it's not a fighting game. This actually looks more like an action game. This is more like a brawler.
Yeah.
In some ways, kind of like the One Piece games, right? The early One Piece games. I'm not talking about the full RPG, but the One Piece games. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I like the characters. I like the look of it, but I just know nothing about the IP itself. So Eden Zero was announced. But again, this is a game that probably would have skipped Xbox One. So the fact that it's showing up on the Xbox stage through the partner preview program, gotta love it, man. This is what Sarah Bond, and Phil and everybody else has been working on, man. So I'm down. I'm cool.
Yeah, it's one that like when I went back and watched it the second time, it looked a little bit better to me than it did the first. There's so many great like JRPGs and like action games and all these things coming out right now, and it didn't at first glance, it didn't like really do anything to separate itself. I didn't even know it was based on an actual anime series because I'm not really in touch with that world and stuff, right? But yeah, it looks good, man. Looks cool. We'll see how it is. Another brand new game announcement though. So coming in 2025, and it was Konami. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's Konami.
Correct. Absolutely. Then we had a game that I have had my eye on, a game that we have seen earlier, but we got a new look at some of the mechanics today. This one is, I'm not going to say this is super high on my list, but this definitely has interest for me in 2025, and that is Eternal Strands. And I believe did they announce this for Game Pass?
Yes, played day one with Game Pass.
That was the new part of it because we did not know it was going to be in Game Pass. So because this game is going to be in Game Pass, I'm obviously going to download it in 2025 when it comes out. And I'm talking about Eternal Strands. And this is from that new studio, Yellow Brick Games. And this is a lot of former Ubisoft devs that formed this team. So a lot of experience here with this team as well. And I think they've even got some ex-BioWare people there also. But Eternal Strands looks really cool. The way that you can use the environment, basically today they were talking about the elements, ice, fire and ice that you can use map, but they were also showing how you can pick up pretty much anything. They said the world is your weapon, right? And they're going to have these giant Goliath type bosses that you can climb up onto, which we've seen in plenty of games now. And that's going to be kind of the core gameplay, but they showed off the different combinations of fire and ice that you can use, and then picking up and throwing all these different pieces from the world and using everything as a weapon. Love some of the combinations they showed off. It really is bright, really bright.
Yeah.
I love the color palette here. Again, is it super high on my list? No, I'm not going to say this is super high on the list, but every time I see it, I'm like, okay, cool. This is definitely something I want to try. And then, like I said, saw the Game Pass. I was like, okay, yeah, we're definitely downloading this. What do you think of Eternal Strands' latest show off here?
It's one that I was watching it again the second time. Like I was like, wow, okay, that looks really cool. It's coming into Game Pass day and date, so I'm gonna give it a go. Right. I watching the trailer the second time, I noticed the heavy RPG elements that I really liked. It did remind me a little bit of Immortals and some of the art style, and some of the movement and stuff with the characters, which is a good thing, right? So overall, it's on my radar. I'm not gonna say I'm super hyped about it or anything, right? But it's on my radar. It looks cool, and it's one I'm gonna give a go for sure when it drops because I won't lose anything by trying it, and I just might love it.
It's the beautiful part about Game Pass.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. So yeah, no, looking forward to Eternal Strands next year as well. Then next up, this game was an RPG. This was an action RPG. My God, this would be high on my freaking list. I saw this right. I was like, yo, what is this? Another new game. Never seen this game before. And that is Mistfall Hunter. And I first started looking at this map and I saw the classes. And I'm like, oh, what do we got here? We got some dark fantasy going on. Looks great. It's not a AAA game. It's from a smaller studio. It's a AA game, but it looks fantastic.
Thought there were no more AA games.
Yeah, bullshit, whatever. He's become a bitter old man. You never want to become that dude, by the way. Of course, you're talking about Sean Laden in his latest comments. He is a bitter old man who should get out of this industry. He's done. He's washed. I don't care. I love Sean Layden before, and I thought he did great for Sony. But anyways, we'll get on that side tangent maybe later. Anyways, so sick and tired of hearing his stupid comments. But Mistfall Hunter looked right up my alley, Matt. And then, it's a Souls-like extraction game. Damn it.
Yeah.
But still look fantastic. And again, the fact that they're taking Souls-like and they're putting the extraction twist on it, good luck to you. I want to see it find an audience because it looks so great, and I want these games to all succeed. I hope it does. But man, if you guys just make this a classic RPG, action RPG with how it looked, bro, you would have had me day one, man. You would have had me day one. But Matt, what'd you think about Mistfall Hunter?
It looked like interesting. It's another take on the Souls genre. So I think we're just getting so many of these kind of games, and there's obviously a hugely popular. I got Elden Ring vibes with the kind of aesthetic of it a little bit. But they're trying to do something different with the extraction elements, and that I'm guessing that means it's multiplayer and competitive as well. Like, so as far as that goes, that's going to add an interesting twist. I'm sure that a lot of these devs are trying to find ways to kind of change the formula a little bit and put their own stamp on things and bring people into their games, and they got to be different at least a little bit than some of the others that are out there, right? So it looks interesting. It's not necessarily my kind of game, right? But we'll see who it's for, and we'll see if they get an audience. I think that graphically it looks good. The animations look great. The combat looks good. The character designs are awesome.
Yep.
It's just I've seen these kind of games quite a bit, and I haven't been that into many of them too much, right? I do keep telling myself I need to give Elden Ring another try and try again.
I put 80 hours in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Whatever. I had a good time. So but ultimately, again, not for me. But the exploration part, going to see all the world.
That's the part of Elden Ring I like until I get into a castle. Then I hate it.
Until I get to some place where I gotta actually get down to dirty.
Yeah, then it's like this is a Souls game. When I'm in a castle, it's like this is pure Souls.
Yep.
Then I'm less into it when I'm out in the world and I'm doing the RPG stuff more so, like exploring. I'm like, all about it. Love it. Right.
Yep. Oh man.
So maybe this game is gonna be more of that.
Doesn't sound like it, Baff. So it's like extraction. It's not gonna be that. Anyways, next up is a weird game, Wheel World. Bikes with ghost-like skull figures, and it looks like something supernatural happening in the world. But basically, the main part of the game that they showed off today was racing bikes and customizing your bikes in a whole lot of goofy, weird ways. It's got that. What kind of art style is this? Would you go comic book cell kind of art style to it? People, when you see it, you've seen other games like this. I love the look of it. And I love the music in it that was playing during the trailer. That caught my attention. It looks cool. It's definitely an indie game. Maybe I'll try it at some point. It's coming next year. So, but Wheel World is something different.
Yeah.
And I don't quite get what's going on, but there is something bigger going on in that game. But you're racing bikes for sure.
Yeah, there's another bike game that just hit that hit Xbox recently called Parcel Corps or something.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool. This looks interesting. This looks like it could be fun.
I guess I compare the art style is Ollie World. I guess that's that's what most people know. It's a minimalistic comic book style, like a real that's the best way I can describe it. Ollie World. Yeah.
This is in Game Pass too, so I'll try
this was Game Pass too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why Eurogamer doesn't. Why is Eurogamer, a gaming magazine, not telling what's on Game Pass? By the way, isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's Xbox Series X and S, Windows PC, or play it day one with Game Pass.
Perfect. So then I'll try it because again, it did. I was like, okay, this looks cool, and I was like, what the. Like you, Mav, I was like, what's with the little ghost head in the front? What is this?
Like it seemed, I almost was like, get rid of that thing, the ghost thing, because it was like changing the aesthetic. But like, I'm sure there's something to it.
Well, then they showed you customizing your bike with some weird like wheels, like donut-looking wheels or flesh. It was really strange, and I was like, okay, there's a lot more going to this game. I got to check it out at some point. Game Pass, get it downloaded. I'll definitely try it. And then, Mav, we got a big nope, and more nope, and more nope, and nope. and double nope and never will. Don't care what you're going to pay me. Not going to happen unless it's in the millions. Phasmophobia got announced for Xbox for October 29th, just in time for Halloween. For all you crazy people that love this bullshit, welcome. Enjoy it. Happy for you. Phasmophobia, October 29th, Xbox. Go get your rocks off. Piss in your pants. It's freaking fantastic. What a time, man. I never will understand the people addicted to heart attacks. But you guys go for it. I couldn't even have my earphones in and listen to this while you were playing it, Mav. And I skipped through it when I came back to it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I heard you going nope.
Yeah, I was saying no. Like if I played, is this the one that has like co-op?
Yes.
Where you like, okay.
Yes.
I would play for fun with some friends and stream it, but I would have a very hard time. But if I play it on stream, I might be distracted enough from the chat and stuff to be like too creeped out. But if I was like just in my room playing this by myself, like with the lights off and everything, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could do it. Shit's creepy.
Yep. It is. And I'm not going to deal with it. So nope, it's never going to happen. Anyways, let's move on. The Legend of Babu. I'm sorry. I love the fucking dog in this game. He is fucking adorable. I don't care what anybody says.
It's like an Akita.
Yeah. But, and I heard you say that the characters look weird. I think as a total art style, I want to know where the developers from this game actually are, because it feels like an art style. Because I watched the trailer back when I got home, Mav, so I could take a good look at it. And it doesn't feel like they're bad character models. It feels like a creative decision, or that's the artist that is, the main artist that's, kind of determining what the games look. That's his style or her style. Very interesting looking game. Looks like a cool little game. And again, the dog's got me, dude. His stupid smiling face with his tongue out, bro. I'm done. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I got to see this game, but it looks kind of cool. It looks kind of fun. So the Legend of Babu with a big fluffy dog. Let's go.
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
I can't, like, it's one of those words, like, if it's an art style choice, it's like tricking me to like, when I'm seeing it, it just makes it look really kind of old sometimes, but then I see more the art style direction of it and I'm like, okay, it kind of fits. So I don't know, it's one that I just kind of caught me off guard a little bit with the art style is just a little different to where it's maybe it's not something I've seen before, but like it's almost like the art styles like Xbox 360 PS3 era real games that weren't going for art style, like it kind of the way the animations of the faces and the characters looked was just making me see it that way. But yeah, if it's just a pure art direction choice, then it's something I got to see more in motion and stuff and gameplay of. But ultimately, looks like it could be cool. It maybe not for me. I'd say.
It
yeah,
doesn't have to be. And again, I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to pre-order it day one. I'm just saying I gotta play it eventually just for the dumb dog. Because the dumb dog.
The dog looks cool.
And the dog is Babu.
The dog had great, like the crazy thing is the dog had like great animations, great design. Like
the only thing I will say about the characters, man, that I picked up, they looked like hobbits.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the trailer, they look like Lord of the Ring hobbits. But I really do think it's some type of style. Like this, I don't know. It was crazy, but yeah, the dog did look great.
The dog looked awesome. It was like okay, they spent more time with the dog.
That's important.
Yeah, see, like, is that shot like right there? Like, it's like, is he like a Pinocchio guy?
Yeah,
or
that's
is
what
it like?
Because
he's like,
but it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's indie.
Yeah,
it just
for sure.
I don't know. It's just
I'm not trying to overpick on it.
No. But look at the background and stuff too.
Just trying to just determine if what I'm looking at.
Yeah. God, that dog is just that dog's got me. I'm in. Yeah, see, they look like hobbits.
Yeah, well, that thing did. What was that thing?
I don't know.
That's
it's a girl. It's a little girl.
Is it?
It looks like a hobbit. Almost got elf ears too. I don't know. But again, I see what you're saying, but it's also indie, right? So they're not going to be like totally
100%.
But yeah, I just think it looks kind of dope. Look at Babu. Look at Babu. I'm all
Babu.
Babu. Let's go, Babu. Anyways, Next up, a big get for Xbox, especially with the Black Myth Wukong stuff and all that kind of stuff. The fact that this has shown up on their stage and obviously is coming out, no matter what at this point, I shouldn't say that because Black Myth did show up on their stage once before too. Let's hope it continues to show up. And it doesn't go the way of the Black Myth, but it doesn't look like it is. And of course, this is the one that we saw earlier this year, and that is Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Again, another Souls-like. They have confirmed that this is straight up Souls-like. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. So I'm out. But I see this style map, and I see the detail again. Shout out to the Eastern devs for their complete. Just they know how to do detailed worlds with classic old school style beauty, from the characters to the plants to the creation of the monsters, the enemies. It is just hands down such a fantastic thing to see when they show off these games, especially from places and studios that we haven't heard of before, and they show up on the scene with games like this. I hope, my hope is, being the non-soul, and I'm gonna be selfish here. Again, I'm glad for all the Souls fans that we're getting another one. I'm super happy for Xbox that they got this thing, it seems like, in lockdown. And I hope that at some point, these Eastern devs, I hope that Pearl Abyss and Crimson Desert, I hope that the Crimson Desert comes out and kicks ass as a Western RPG from the Eastern side of things, so that some of these Eastern devs who do this work start making Western RPGs. Because again, if this game was an RPG, I am looking so forward to it. It'd be so easy to translate a game like this into RPGs. But I'm happy for you Souls fans. You guys are eating good. Wuchang Fallen Feathers, impressive as hell trailer here, Mav. The first one was just a teaser. This one kind of laid out some of the story behind it. My God, man. Talk about gripping story. Talk about movie-like quality, introduction to the evilness of the world and what this girl is fighting through. Yeah, man. They just know what they're doing. The production quality is off the charts. I love this trailer. I was like, damn, if it was anything but Souls, man. Jesus, man. But it looks great. Looks fantastic.
Yeah, and this one is in Game Pass, day and date also.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, I think overall, I think this one's locked in for Xbox.
Yes. If it's a Game Pass deal, they got the bag. I forgot that it was a Game Pass deal. Thank you.
Game Pass, marketing, all this stuff, right? This is one that'll probably be I think it'll be a pretty big hit in 2025 for Xbox fans.
Yep.
I look at it and I'm always looking for that Souls game to finally grab me, right? I played the first Neo and I liked quite a bit of it, but then I hit a wall and I stopped, right? I liked what I was playing with Elden Ring, then I hit a wall and I was like, okay, I'm stopped. But this one kind of, they go through the elements and stuff here, and it kind of reminds me of Ninja Gaiden and some of the more actiony kind of games from back in the day. The way they do also the abilities where they have the kind of different element abilities and stuff like that, where you're able to take out several enemies at once. They have some area of effect type abilities and all that kind of stuff as well. So I'm seeing all that kind of stuff, and I know it's going to be skill based. It's going to be very action heavy with dodging and possibly parrying and all that kind of stuff as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I get it. That's what's super popular right now. But this one is so gorgeous with the colors and the abilities and stuff. I love the character designs on it as well. This is one that I want to hopefully love. So I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's in Game Pass day and date also. So I will lose nothing by giving it my all. And hope this will be the one to really grab me for the Souls genre.
I'll download it just like I did Liza P, and I'll check it out. So I will check it out, but I'll wind up dropping it. I know I will.
This is more fast paced, right? So I like that aspect of it.
Yeah. I hope it turns out for you, man. I really do.
Yeah, you can blow torches from a lantern. You can shoot little spiky things.
All limited, all super limited. You're gonna that's it's not anything that you just get. Like it's gonna be super limited.
Yeah, area of effect flower ability
Sure.
you see there.
I can't wait to see you get there, man. I can't wait to see you get there. It'll probably be like like the 8th or 9th level that you got to get through. I can't wait to see you.
Is this? I wonder, like how this game's gonna be set up, like with the levels and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder too. I wonder if it's going to be Black Myth Wukong open, or if it's going to be more set up like classic style, or if it's going to be totally. I don't think it's going to be Elden Ring. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be areas, but we'll see. We'll see. But it looks great. It does look fantastic. I totally forgot it was a Game Pass. Thanks for reminding me. Saw the chat lighting up too.
Yeah, Eurogamer's not giving you all the information.
They're not. They did it in order, which I appreciate that they did all the games in order, but of course they left out that vital piece of information. So, anyways, appreciate that. Last game, Mav, was a surprise. It was another surprise. This one again coming from Remedy out of the freaking blue. A Left 4 Dead style multiplayer game from Remedy in the Control universe called FBC Firebreak. Totally different from anything they've done in the past. I'm all for devs trying. I went back and rewatched the trailer. Zero interest. 3-player co-op doesn't grab me in the least, right? And I like Control Universe. I like Remedy. I just watched the characters and I watched the different guns and shit. Didn't do anything for me at all. So I don't think I'll be dropping into this one. But again, I'm all for Remedy trying. 3-player co-op Left 4 Dead style game. Interesting. Again, out of the blue. Hadn't seen it before. World premiere on the Xbox Partner Preview. Gotta love it, man. Even if it's not for me, I gotta love it because again, it's something new. And I'm always for this at these types of shows. So shout out to Xbox for grabbing this one too. It's gonna be cool, man. It's coming out in 2025. What'd you think of Firebreak, man?
Yeah, and this one also is in Game Pass as well. So this one, I was like, what? I was like, what? Remedy doing like a multiplayer game like this? Like, I was like, okay, this is interesting. Now, I'm into this because for me, when I'm watching the trailer, when I saw it, I am thinking of how the physics work in that world. Like, and they have like one thing that they do really well in their games is the physics-based gameplay with the mechanics for like the explosions or barrels or all the other kind of crazy stuff going on. And it's kind of like they do it better than most, right? And when I was looking at this, I'm like, I've never played a game of theirs in this style. And watching the trailer, I could see a lot of it throughout this. Like a lot of the things I like about Control and some of these other games that they do, like sprinkled in here with the style of game that it is. So I was very intrigued by it because I think it's going to play different than any of these other kind of co-op shooter kind of games that I've played before. So this will be kind of fresh with the style of gunplay and the gameplay within it, and that's what intrigues me the most for it. And like you can even see like the different kinds of weapons and stuff that they have are just really physics based and stuff. It just screams playground to me. I hope it's awesome. It could not be, but overall, another one that I get to try at no extra cost to me. Yep. So yay.
All right. Well, that was the entire show. So again, great partner preview. So I know you kind of broke down your overall thoughts on it. Again, mine are most of the games that I was interested in, I had already seen previously. And there was only a couple of them. There wasn't really anything that really caught me off guard where I was like, oh God, I gotta play this. But overall, the show still hit. Because again, I appreciate games for other people. I appreciate other genres being represented. I appreciate new games being shown. And I appreciate updates on games that we've only seen a little bit or teasers from, right? So not like Like a Dragon, that we've seen multiple times, all that stuff. But I'm talking about the games like Wuchang, where we had a teaser, but now you got a much better trailer for it, much bigger trailer. So I appreciate all that stuff. Overall, thought pacing was excellent again. Tina Meany just crushing it. Gave this an easy 8.5, even though I didn't come out it with much for me. I thought it was a great show for Xbox at this point in the year when we've already seen so much, Mav, when we are already getting so much elsewhere. I thought this was a really, really good show. So Mav, once you you kind of sat on it, you got to talk about it after you co-streamed it, but where are you at now with this? Your overall thoughts on it? I'm gonna be right back to you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I gave it earlier. I gave it an 8.5 when I graded it because I had expectations kind of like what is going to be at a partner preview show this late in the year after they've already had so many reveals. Like, it's not going to be anything crazy, but we had new game reveals here. We had more Game Pass games announced here. You had things coming to Xbox today as well. So overall, just like they kind of hit all the marks on what to expect out of a good show. And the new games looked good. Some of them are more for me, some of them are not. Some of the games coming to Game Pass looked awesome. We had the updated look at Wuchang Fallen Feathers was absolutely awesome as well. A multiplayer 3-player co-op game from Remedy, and then a new IP from Bloober Team that looks like it could end up being the best thing they've ever done. Yeah, overall, I was like, wow, this is great for a partner preview show, a 25-minute thing that's not focused on first party or anything like that. It's even some of the smaller partnerships that they have, but they're all kind of delivered something really fun and interesting to play. And there was something here for everybody, which was kind of the other takeaway. Whether you like Eastern flavored games, or like you have stuff like Eternal Strands and Wuchang Fallen Feathers and Eden Zero, or if you like horror games and you had Cronos and uh Phantasmophobia, then you had shooters like Blind Fire show up there. You had the indie stuff like Animal Well. You had an expansion as well for Alan Wake 2. In general, there's just so much different stuff. There was surprises that you never would have. I never expected to see Bloober Team with a new IP at a partner preview show in freaking October for Xbox. I never expected to see a new Remedy co-op multiplayer game showed off, and both of those things, or not both of them, but the Firebreak game going to Game Pass day and date. Yeah, awesome. And then that's on top of also seeing something like we knew was going to be here, like the Yakuza pirate game, which also looked absolutely spectacular. The ship combat for the Yakuza game actually kind of blew me away. I was like, wow, they just black flagged Black Flag. Um, like they just really did it how I would hope they would. It looked great. The boarding of ship to ship combat, all that stuff looked awesome. And you also had something like the Mouse PI game that a lot of people are going to be excited for. That was an indie game that's like looks like a more difficult FPS, but old school art style from the 20s as well. Wheel World, another indie game that looks like there's something more to it, but it's a bicycle racing game as well. Like just overall, like a really good show that had lots of different developers doing different things and giving variety. And then Game Pass on top of it adds another element of value for me, where some of these games, even if I don't know if I would be day one or not, gives me the chance to give it a go. So yeah, overall, I think it hit all the marks for me on delivering a good show. 8.5 all the way. I'm gonna read some comments from the chat here and see what you guys score. What did you guys score the Xbox partner preview October 2024? Let's see. We got Sanchez MTZ Gaming says 9.5 out of 10. That's high praise. High praise. Sanchez MTZ Gaming. High praise. Crippling Debt said, fuck yeah, I would have been the only person in my friend group to actually buy, so playing with my friends will be much better. Yeah, there's so many cool things here. Yeah, Firebrick. You're referring to Firebrick, which you didn't know was on Game Pass. Yeah, it's on Game Pass. Has anybody in the chat tried out the the not crippling debt, the Blind Fire game? Anybody tried out Blind Fire? Poison Maniac says solid B, 7.5 to 8. Verg Base Brizzle says 8.6. That's a That's not a rookie score. That's a very specific score. That's a Dave Portnoy pizza review score. 8.6. Love it. Mass Hold 1977 with a B. God Emperor Sofa King 7.5. Then so Verg based Brizzle declassified as 8.6 as a B. Reclassified it as a B. That's cool. You switched it from the pro score to the rookie score. Awesome. Alvin says for me personally a 9. Right on. What was your favorite games? What was your favorite games? What stood out to you the most, guys? Nam Omar gave it a 7. 7's still solid, man. 7 means that there's something there that caught your eye. Blind Fire has potential, but still needs work, Ferg says. Like, what kind of, like, is it just one-on-one, or is it like, how many players, multiplayer is it? Are you in like an arena with like 5 people, or explain this game, because they have not explained anything really on it yet. Let's see. Alvin says Blind Fire looks like a dud, to be honest, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Not every one of these games is going to hit, right? But overall, I think there was still something here for everybody. For me, my star of the show, man, it's kind of hard to say, but God, I don't want to say a Souls game. If it's pure Souls, I don't want to say a Souls game is my game of the show, but it just looks so damn good. Wuchang Fallen Feathers really could be this game that actually finally grabs me in the genre. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a go and find out. But also Cronos. And I'm not a big horror guy either. But there's something about Cronos that was like, okay, that world looks really interesting. I liked the trailer. The trailer with the Big Daddy Dead Spacey guy playing chess. It was just crazy, and it was pretty sick. Verg says he thinks Blind Fire is 4-on-4. You're in an arena with no light. Then you'll get a flash light. You get a flash out light showing your enemy for a couple seconds. From the first team to kill, everyone wins. So it's like instant eliminations, like no respawns. Basically, kill the other team. They're dead. Game over. Got it. So it's kind of like laser tag in a way. And well, no, yeah, in a way, like maybe like laser tag. BT Maverick says Cronos and the Lake House Survival Sicko. Nice. Alvin's favorites was Mouse PI, Will World, Wuchang, Eternal Strands, and Babu even. Right on. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff at this show. A lot of cool stuff. Solid 8.5.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem, man. We were just going over like scores for the show that everybody gave, and then reading some of the people's favorite games. Dude, I keep going like between Cronos and then Wuchang for my standouts. But then I'm like, those are two genres I usually am not as into.
So
right?
I don't know, but they can still show well enough where you're like,
Yeah.
those are the ones, right? So
Yeah, like I'm intrigued most by them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can't disagree. Again, most PI for Hire was another great showing. But I've seen a lot of that game, but it just keeps getting better and better for me. So I can easily say that one. Eternal Strands look great, but I think overall, again, if I had to pick a show or pick a game of the show, it would probably be Wuchang's,
trailer. Presentation for it. Yeah, it was a great trailer.
It was a fantastic trailer. It looks great. So, or Cronos, like you said. I mean, again, Cronos looked good too. But yeah, 2 games that I'm not gonna.
There was some good trailers at this thing.
Yeah,
but the pacing was good. I like how they broke it up and then kind of like recapped like what we saw. Yeah,
her team is just so. Again, the selection of games, it's perfect for this time of the year too. Having those Souls-like and those dark horror games, because Again, it's Halloween season, right? So everybody's kind of in that mood, but you break it up with things like Wheel World and Legend of Babu and stuff like that, and Eternal Strands and Eden Zero. But overall, it kind of had that gloomy type, whatever you want to say, is kind of just supernatural feel to a lot of the games because everybody's kind of in that mindset this time of the year.
Yeah.
But another diverse set of games that show off that Xbox is partnering with all types of developers, both small and big. They continue to push that narrative that this is what they do. Love it, man. Just continuation. Good. Can't hate it. For
Nope.
me, at least. I can't. So, let's see here. Mav, what did you want to get into tonight, brother? What did you want to hear?
Man, we want to dog on Sean Layden's comments some more?
Oh, God, man. Did I even put? I don't even know if I put those in. I was just annoyed. I saw them earlier today. Let me find the exact article again. So hold on.
We could talk about Xbox Anywhere and the game ownership. We talked about that last week. I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah, we did.
We don't prepare, guys. We just like sit in front of each other. Like, let's talk games.
So here we'll go back to Eurogamer again. Let's go back. Former PlayStation exec says there's a collapse of creativity in the industry, relying on blockbusters as a death sentence. There's such a lack of self-awareness on Sean Layden's part as well that he had a hand in this. Okay, like he's not. His hands aren't clean in all this, right? So, anyways, let's read the article real quick. This is from Ed Nightingale out of Eurogamer. Says former PlayStation exec Sean Layden has discussed the state of the games industry, stating that there's a collapse of creativity and that relying on blockbusters is a death sentence. Layden took the stage at Gamescom Asia alongside Raw Fury co-founder and chief publishing officer Gordon Van Dyke, where the pair discussed the disappearance of AA Studios. What?
Oh, that's not a thing.
I mean,
is it like?
What's he? We still have studios that came from AA.
There's like new studios get announced all the time this year too. Like I don't really understand the whole even point of the conversation. Really,
Steam Netflix has a whole bunch of great AA's.
Right? So is it because AA has gotten better quality, so it's like seemingly AAA now? Like
maybe.
What would you consider like a game like Remnant 2?
Well, that's always been the question, right? And the lines certainly have been blurred. We've talked about this because of the tools, because of the engines like Unreal Engine 5. Again, Unreal has changed the game for a lot of developers. I play a game like Witchfire, which is an indie game. That's a AA game at most, right? It's an indie game. It's a AA game, but it's an Unreal Engine 4 with all the bells and whistles. It can compete with anything AAA right now. Like, I mean, to a certain degree, obviously, right? But I'm just saying it can compete. You can put it side by side and tell me that a big publisher or a big developer made it, and I wouldn't question you. We've talked about this for a long time. I don't understand where he comes with this because there are a lot of AA studios out there. Maybe he's just talking about underneath the big publishers, like, I don't know, like Saber.
It still doesn't make any damn sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
to me.
like,
but anyways,
Mech Warrior Clans.
Yes,
it just hit. Would 100% AA, right?
Yes.
I could probably go through like just games that have been releasing this year and probably find a majority is AA and indie. There's actually like fewer AAA games, I think, actually releasing than we've had in the past. If you really want to look at it, I think maybe the AA is kind of improved up to like blurring those lines, but overall, like I don't know, man. Like a lot of these games that we're seeing being played a lot right now are from these smaller teams and stuff. So I get that you want to talk about creativity and all these other kind of things. Yeah, we're always champion that, but like to focus specifically on the whole AA is dead thing or dying, like I don't get it. I actually see it as more the opposite. Maybe it's because Tencent only really invest in the big publishers.
I wish somebody would ask him his definition of double A, because again,
Yeah.
we'll get to his quotes here, because again, he does explain a lot, but it's still, they never ask him, what do you consider double A? Because we'll get to it here. So anyways, he says,
the Warhammer,
right,
Space Marine 2, right? That's
I would say that's triple A. I'd say that Saber took their step.
Yeah.
The first Warhammer was double A for sure, right? The first Space Marine was double A. But I would say with this one, this is triple A level. I mean, it is. The production.
Well, the quality wise, right.
Right. But what do we consider? Like how much?
Yeah.
Like, is it money? Is it
the
amount of devs? So that's always been the question. Well, how do you judge this?
Right? How many double A Warhammer games are there?
A ton.
Oh, shit ton.
The vast majority of Warhammer games are double A. Even their strategy
is this
games
maybe the only one to ascend to that triple A status?
Probably. I said it was. I said it was their first triple A game for Warhammer. That was my opinion out the gate. That this was going to be the first one that really gave it.
What would you consider like Hellblade 2?
Hellblade 2 is triple A quality.
Right. But budget, it's $50 game.
Budget, right? Cutting edge. Right. But it's a $50 game. But I think that's more the quantity, like the size of the game, that they price it accordingly, right? Which, again, I think needs to be done more. But anyways, that's a different topic. I think it's a AAA game. They've got cutting edge tech. They are.
It's AAA quality in a smaller scope.
In a smaller scope.
Yeah.
It's still AAA to me.
Yeah.
I think their budget was probably pretty damn.
It does things no other game's done before, also. Right. Yeah, so like, it's just I don't get it. I hate sometimes when these things get like just put out there as like, hey, this person said it because he's in the industry, and it's all of a sudden very important as like some kind of factual thing, and it's like, it's not really reality, like I don't know what the actual reality is, but based on the amount of games we're getting of different genres and variety from all different size of studios all over the place, I wouldn't say that AAA gaming is really the problem with the industry. I don't know how many big AAA games have we gotten this year.
I'd have to go look.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a good amount, but not like in the past.
Like I said, I just wish there was a clear definition from him what he considers AA and why he ignores the entire indie scene that is still making AA games. Like, I really want to know what he looks at here. If he's just talking about the major studios, if he's just talking like your Take-Twos, right, that don't put out AA games, even though in the past they used to, right? Your rock stars underneath two before they went to this all in on GTA, obviously, and Red Dead, we talked about this. They used to put out games that were definitely AA quality games. Okay. Bully was a AA game back in the day. It was not a AAA game. Okay. If he's just talking about the major players and that's what he's talking about, fine, but the AA space is definitely not dead in my opinion. All right. Today, he says, quote, today the entry cost for making a AAA game is in the triple digit millions now. Okay, so he's kind of defining AAA. Well, Alan Wake 2 didn't cost triple digits. I would still consider that AAA. So again, I want to know Laden's, definition here. He continued, I think it's natural. I think naturally risk tolerance drops and you're looking at sequels. You're looking at copycats because the finance guys who draw the line and say, well, if Fortnite made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this in that amount of time. We're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today, studio consolidation, and the high cost of production. Again, look in the mirror, Sean. Look who you're a part of right now.
It's like he's like 5 years too late on this conversation.
And he's got his hands dirty in this. So,
right.
Like, why he acts like he's above it still, I don't know. Anyways, further Laden states AA is gone, which he described as a threat to the ecosystem. See, again, I'm not a part of the industry. I'm not Sean Layden.
AA's not
much
gone.
Respect to the dude, where he's been, what he's done. Again, loved him.
Maybe he's done at PlayStation,
but AA is definitely not gone. Noting the general standard of games, including indie titles, is much higher thanks to advancements and tools. He continued, now, if we could just get a bit more interest and excitement and exposure for this lower budget, but super creative and super unusual type of games, I'd like to see more of that, because if we're just going to rely on the blockbusters to get us through, I think that's a death sentence. So he must be talking about the major players. He has to be thinking the major players have gone away from AA. It's the only thing I could think where this makes sense, because he is acknowledging that the indie scene exists here, Matt. He's acknowledging that they're still making super creative games. He's just saying they don't get the exposure.
Yeah, so he's talking to 2K, Ubisoft.
Right.
This is something that
players. It's got to be.
Yeah, well, he's years late on that conversation then. Mm-hmm. Like, we've been trying
to
talk about that for years. Like, but anyway.
AA games can bring the new thing and can be developed for far quicker than AAA games, said Laden. Most importantly, though, they must seek unique ideas, not monetization. He says, quote, if you're going to pitch me your AA game and the first 2 pages of your deck is your monetization and revenue subscription scheme, I'm out. Your first page has to be, this game needs to be made, and here's why, he said. I want to see that fire. I don't want to say, here's the chief accountant on the team that's going to explain to you the game's monetization.
Well, 100% I agree with him on that.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about. Make the game fun first, and then worry about the monetization later. Mm-hmm. Layden also commented on current trends around AI in game development, stating it's not a savior. You can be very short-sighted. You can be very short-sighted when it comes to new tech. Okay, you can be very short-sighted if you're an old player in this space. I'm not saying it's a savior, and again, I've talked about my hesitation with AI. There's lots of problems that we all see from AI, but it could certainly help game development in all the areas that he's concerned about. Okay, it could certainly free up a ton of resources, and again, you can't be that old curmudgeon who hates everything new all the damn time. I am guilty, certainly, of a lot of that. But if you're an influence, if you have any power in this industry, you can't be that dude who says AI is completely not going to help. And I understand he's only saying it's not the savior, but I think AI is a lot more powerful than he's going to give it credit for here. We'll see. Artificial intelligence has been in gaming. Artificial intelligence. Oh God, he's going this route. Artificial intelligence has been in gaming since almost the first or second games ever made, he said. So all this excitement about Gen AI, I find kind of humorous. Oh, Jesus. I do see its applications in certain places for certain things, but it's just a tool. It's not a savior. It's a tool in a way that Excel is a tool. It just helps you speed along your tasks. Yeah, a little short-sighted, Sean. A little short-sighted, but anyways, we'll see. Laden began working for Sony in 1987, eventually serving as chairman at SIE Worldwide Studios from 2014 to 2019. He's worked as a strategic advisor at Tencent since September of 2022. He's worked as a strategic advisor at Tencent since September of 2022. Again, a little self-awareness, Sean. His comments are perhaps best reflected in the game like Hi-Fi Rush, a unique and creative concept that was certainly a risk for Tango Gameworks. That studio, of course, Eurogamer had to go this. That studio was closed by Microsoft, but subsequently acquired by Krafton, and Krafton boss Changhan Kim has made comments parallels to those of Laden. Specifically, the studio acquisition was motivated by the desire to maintain its legacy rather than make money. Quote, we wanted to maintain their legacy, said Kim. Although they did not have big success in games, we saw many creatives worth pursuing. That's why we wanted to work with that organization. Don't know why that had to be thrown at the end, but it's Eurogamer. So there we go. Listen, again, Sean's comments are annoying to me because I don't understand his perspective. I wish the journalist would do the journalistic thing and ask him to clarify what his definitions are here. Reading into his comments, I assume, as we just said, that he's talking about the big guys. The major players have gone away from having a portfolio of both big blockbusters and little games, right? AA games and smaller games. That's the way it used to be. The big boys used to play in all the different spaces. Now, for the vast majority, they only play in the blockbuster, triple-digit millions kind of AAA space that he was talking about, and a lot of it is monetization, which we've talked about. Ubisoft killed off franchises and games because they thought of monetization first instead of fun gameplay first.
Yeah, there's a lot of that I agree with. If you're talking to the big pubs and stuff, we've had our plenty of rants on that kind of stuff. I don't agree with him if he's talking in a more general sense about double A disappearing,
No.
right? And because I think a majority of the industry, besides the big pubs, most of the games that we get, like if you go through any of the stores, Steam,
Yeah.
Xbox, PlayStation, like wherever, you're gonna see mostly double A and indie stuff,
Right.
right? And then you're gonna see your triple A's sprinkled in here, like maybe one a week or one every other week or something like that, or a couple here. More in the fall and the holiday season, you're gonna have obviously more then, right? But I still even see from some of the big pubs, I still see several different double A level and indie style projects going on for sure. So they're still doing some of that. Some of them better than others, right? But it's an interesting thing because if you are one of those big pubs that does have one of those successes, right? Then they've become so reliant on those that it's like hard for them to adjust as well.
Yeah.
So that there's a little bit of give and take there. Like what would Activision have done without being acquired by Microsoft? They're just stuck in the Call of Duty train,
Right.
right? Is one of the things that we were happy that because this frees them up to do some more things, and we already got news that they were open another studio and do those other kind of things to kick off some more projects, right? So they still got to work out and stuff, but overall, just in general, it seems like they target, if this is what his all direction is going to, is it seems very focused on specific companies maybe, and trying to target that. It's even
like Nate Dogg
interesting.
says, Xbox is always a
Yeah,
target.
it's interesting. Eurogamer put on the bottom of it like the whole Hi-Fi Rush thing as well.
I didn't even see that till the very.
Which I was critical of that as well, for sure. Yeah, but like but then after that, we had other news, like the whole, hey, they made a deal with Toys for Bob. They're actually, they gave them their freedom, but they're also doing a deal for them to do games. They're doing the other games from Infinity Ward, right? They even started another one. And then they have another team that was working on some other stuff from what was this? Which studio was it? There's another studio that's doing another smaller project that was announced behind the scenes also. There's lots of that stuff going on right now. But anyway, like all those things happened after that. So that put my mind at ease, right? With like the direction going forward with Microsoft for a little way. That those are more specific instances with what they did with Tango and Arcane Austin and stuff. And it's not just their whole direction going forward. It's only to focus on the big triple A's, right? Because we've already gotten several announcements and different things happening with other things. The other one was Blizzard, I think. They didn't Blizzard. Blizzard was it. Yeah.
No, I think it's like I said, I need to know exactly what he's talking about. But again, if we're just going to take the big studio stuff as face, is that's what he's getting at? Is the big guys aren't doing it anymore as much as anymore? I would tend to agree to him because again, we've had this conversation, and I think we've had recent conversations about that might be the way to go back. And even though I would consider that Space Marine 2 is a AAA game from Saber, I talked about that. Maybe it's time for the studio, maybe it's time for the big boys to start thinking about those types of projects again, where you do have the smaller campaigns built, and then you also have attacked on multiplayer, whether successful or not. It doesn't have to be a big production, but getting back to just something more basic again, cutting down the cost, cutting down the time. And I think AI is going to help. Again, I'm going to give AI a little bit more play than Laden's going to. Yes, certainly it could have a lot of negative effects, and it could certainly not. I'm not going to say it's going to be the savior of all time, but I definitely think AI is going to have a bigger impact on the gaming industry in a positive way that I think most people are giving it credit for. But I think that's something that the studio should look at, is getting that AA budget back in place again. Because like he talked about the tools, and like we've talked about, man, the tools now, the engines, even with a smaller budget, you got indie garage type people making games that can almost go one for one with anything, triple $1 million budget that the big boys are creating, right? It might not be the same scope, might be not be the same, kind of overall type of game that they put out. But when you're just talking about graphics wise, mechanics wise, what's going on in the game, the indie devs can match almost one for one. Those lines have been blurred now. So why, as the big boys, if you're complaining about the time, the resources, the money that it takes, and the risk involved with 100 million, 200 million, 400 million dollar games that we see, why not break your teams up into smaller teams like you used to? Go back to the smaller type experiences. You guys know how to use the tools, and you can make beautiful fucking games that so happen to come out and maybe are the smaller stuff, right? I still want the big stuff. Again, I love my Western RPGs. I love my Bethesdas. I don't want them to do smaller experiences, but I'm just talking about in general. You could have more teams underneath some of these big publishers do that kind of stuff and make those 12-hour campaigns, right? Those 20-hour campaigns, right? Just great stories, super high production value, big set pieces, just like we saw in Space Marine 2. And then tack on something, a co-op mode, right? Tack on a multiplayer, a basic multiplayer game. See if you develop a fan base around it. That's what I'm talking about. Not every game's going to do this. Not everybody has to do this. But as an example, yes, I could see the big publishers getting back to AA type gaming mentality if that's what Laden here is talking about.
Well, they're going to chase whatever's making the most money. And like, that's just the way the business is. And that's why games like Space Marine 2 being successful and some of these other big games is important.
4.5 million sold, by the way, for Space Marine 2 now this week.
Yeah, that's why games like Metaphor having success is important for JRPGs, right? Like, hey, we can do turn-based combat, and we can have kind of we don't have to like change it to make it look new age and all this other kind of stuff. Like, no, you can just have a great classic style game and just do it amazing and beautiful and like a great story. And guess what? People will be interested in buying it. That's also if you put your games everywhere.
Correct. Absolutely. So again, can't agree with them that AA is completely dead because there's way too much AA out there. That's really cool. Again, I'm playing a ton of it on Next Fest right now. Some of it is definitely indie below AA, but there's some AA stuff in there that's absolutely freaking amazing. And there's still some dev houses out there that aren't underneath big publishers that are doing AA. There's some dev houses that are under big publishers that are doing AA. Like Mav said, there's still examples of that happening. So I can't agree with Laden that's completely dead. And again, Laden, he's got to be more self-aware, but he likes to talk. He's one of those people. People keep giving him interviews. He's got axes to grind with people, especially Xbox. He still does. It's quite obvious. So I think a lot of the stuff is when it's not direct fire, it's indirect fire that he lays down. And I think that at the back of his mind, he's got Xbox in mind. But again, I think Xbox has the potential and has already announced a bunch of projects that will wind up being in that kind of AA space. And I think that that's freaking fantastic. They've already let some of their studios show up with small games, right? Grounded is a AA game. Grounded is a AA game through and through, and it turned out, right? So, I mean, again, we can run through the gamut. Everybody knows it, but I just can't agree with Laden here. Anyways, good conversation. He'll continue to make headlines as he's want to do because he does like to talk. So, can't blame him. I like to talk too. So, whatever. Do your thing, Laden, but just be a little bit more self-aware because you had a hand in a lot of this shit. Okay? You had a hand in a lot of it. So, all right, Mav. Let's see here. Bandai Namco. Let's talk about this real quick here, Mav. Bandai Namco. Talked about Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco is one of my favorite Eastern publishers. They had a really good run. And seemingly they were on the same path as Sega and Capcom were. In this
earlier this generation, they were like
early this
top.
generation, they were freaking crushing.
I mean, Elden Ring too, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They got a ton of successes, right? A ton of successes. But came out this week, thanks to Bloomberg. And this is going to be from Takashi Mochizuki. Sorry if I butchered his last name, but Takashi. He wrote an article this week. Bandai Namco cuts jobs, culls titles as game sector woes deepen. Strict labor laws spur companies to incentivize resignations. Japanese companies canceling console and smartphone games. It goes on to say Bandai Namco Holdings is cutting its workforce as they're canceling several titles. And this was updated on October 15th, by the way. Several titles in its latest sign that rising costs and plateauing demand are depressing the games industry's bottom lines. The Tokyo-based company is taking traditionally Japanese approach to reducing its staff by sending workers to rooms where they are given nothing to do, putting pressure on them to leave voluntarily, according to people familiar with the matter. Since April, affiliate crazy. They got a name for those rooms too. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but anyways, maybe he'll say it. Since April, affiliate Bandai Namco Studios has moved about 200 of its roughly 1,300 employees to such rooms, and nearly 100 have resigned, said people asking not to be named, discussing private information. More expected in leaving in the coming months, they said. Yes, expulsion rooms called Odashi Baya rooms. Okay, that's what they're called, expulsion rooms. For anybody who doesn't understand, this is definitely Japanese culture. Okay, this is a cultural thing. This is something that we in the West really understand the concept, but not understanding the implications because of the labor laws over there, but because of how their culture is from a working standpoint. We don't understand that this bullying tactic, which is what it is, right? This is a corporation bullying tactic over there is extreme. In the West, a lot of people would sit in that room and get paid. They could care less, right? We know that. I guarantee you, if I gave True Serum to a lot of people in our chat and I said, hey, listen, your job, they want to get rid of you, but they can't outright fire you because of X, Y, and Z. So they're going to put you in a room and pay you to sit there to do nothing. Are you okay with that? There will be plenty of people who raise their hands and say, we're okay with that in the West. Okay. Over in the East, with the Japanese culture, it is embarrassing to the workers. It's humiliating to them in ways that we don't understand in the West. That means you are unwanted. And for them, that is ultimate. Like they can't sit in that room and be there. So this is how they get people to resign. Unfortunately, again, it's a bullying tactic by the corporation to get around those much stricter labor laws in the East, right? We've talked about this in the past, why we don't see a lot of the cuts that we see from the Western side of things, why those cuts didn't happen in the East as much is because of those labor laws. But they have tactics like this. Now, it has come out, and I'm sure he's going to might update it here, but it has come out. Bandai claims that they're not doing it. It claims those people are just in between projects right now as they get other things ramped up. But again, corporations are corporations across the globe. They're all assholes. They don't give two shits about people. Doesn't care who they are, where they're from. So anyways, I would not doubt this Bandai is doing this. They are sometimes used by Japanese corporations in a country with some of the world's stricter labor laws. Employees are typically given no work-related tasks, but are left with the knowledge that their performance will give managers ammunition to cut severance when they do leave. Many employees use their time in such rooms to look for other jobs. Company's share slid as much as 1.2% in Tokyo on Wednesday. Bandai Namco says its goal is not to push employees out of the company. Here we go. Our decisions to discontinue games are based on comprehensive assessments of the situation. Some employees may need to wait a certain amount of time before they are assigned to their next project, but we do move forward with assignments as new projects emerge, a representative of Bandai Namco said. There is no organization like an Odashi Abaya at Bandai Namco Studios designed to pressure people to leave voluntarily. Bandai Namco is a storied name in the gaming industry, tracing its roots back to the introduction of Pac-Man arcade title in 1980. Its current games include Dragon Ball and Gundam. Like its competitors, the company is now under pressure to cut costs and adjust to a post-pandemic drop in the time the users have had for games. Smartphone and online games have borne the brunt of cooled sentiment, forcing Bandai Namco to overhaul its game title lineup, resulting in $140 million in write-downs in the 3 quarters to December. So what Bloomberg's intelligence says, Bandai Namco staff cuts reported by Bloomberg News shows a sector that faces higher development costs, gamers' limited attention spans for new games, and an expected game revenue drop in Japan this year. This extends to its peers such as Sony, which canceled its Concord title that was reported to have cost $400 million as well as Square Enix, which, like Bandai Namco, incurred hundreds of $1 million in write-downs last year from cancellation. Over the summer, the company further shuttered smartphone game Tales of Rays, and it said it would take down big budget online game Blue Protocol in January. It also decided to either cancel or pause development on several games, including ones that feature characters from animes Naruto and One Piece, as well as project commissioned by Nintendo. Rival Square Enix Holdings also canceled multiple loss-making smartphone titles, while Sony Group pulled the plug on its online game Concord just 2 weeks after its launch. An anonymous website launched last month alleges that Bandai Namco is using various methods to persuade people to leave. The company is aware of the website, but the information is not accurate, a representative said. Okay, so Math, not good news for Bandai. So it sounds like they're gonna, they need to get rid of about 200 people is the current goal, but they're canceling games. Some on the mobile sector, which is whatever. Most of us don't talk about the mobile gaming sector, but it's obviously the biggest money making sector out there for video games. It's got the most people attached to it, but even that sector is seeing hits after the pandemic kind of ended. So what do you think about Bandai here, Mav? Just part of the whole process? They're just finally feeling the heat, or do you think they've had too many underperforming titles lately that they kind of had to cut here? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. It seems like they're getting away from doing some of these anime spin-offs that have been underperforming, maybe, right? Those are kind of weirdly probably more double A.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's weird to say because they've had some really interesting games. They've had some good games. They've had Scarlet Nexus was Bandai Namco.
Yep.
That came out. I don't know how well it did or not. It seemed like it did pretty okay. Obviously, you had Elden Ring. They had just had Tekken 8 smashed, did amazing. Overall, though, like some of these other ones, like I don't know how they're doing. Like overall, it seems like what they've been delivering recently maybe not hitting as well as they would have hoped. But yeah, maybe they're just refocusing on other projects. Like I don't know. It seems I don't understand the whole expulsion rooms thing, the whole culture stuff, all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know enough about it to really comment on it. Like overall, though, I hope what they're saying is true and that people get moved on to other projects.
Sure.
And if they do, then we'll see. I think there's a lot of things I would like to see Bandai Namco do. Overall, they've been one of the better examples in recent years of how to do game publishing in the business. And coming out of the East, they were doing a lot of things great. So it goes to show you though what like just a string of not hits will potentially do to even one of these companies that's seemingly on top. Shadow of Erdtree, this massive hit this year. Just this year alone, they had Shadow of Erdtree and Tekken 8.
Hey, think about it, man. They've seen a lot of success since the beginning of this gen.
Yeah.
Again, nobody's immune. Nobody's immune. And again, obviously their mobile sector is big. I mean, they're big in mobile. And obviously,
yeah. So maybe it's the mobile side is
hurting bad. But yeah, it's sad to see this, no matter what they're doing. And again, corporations are never your friend. Again, there are better ones than other ones, but like I said, Nintendo's shown time and time again how shitty they are as a corporation, even though people want to praise them and say they're the greatest thing ever. They're not. They're a shitty ass corporation who doesn't give two fucks about people. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff. So again, I don't doubt that they're using these tactics, something that is well known over there. But either way, it just shows that nobody's immune, right? Again, that Bandai Namco, who seemingly was doing really well at the beginning of the generation, obviously some of their investments have not panned out, or they did not prepare.
It just seems like licensing stuff with some of these anime games, like they've been one of the bigger anime publishers, maybe the biggest. They've also Sega does some as well. But like the article says, like including games featuring the One Piece and Naruto licenses were potentially ones that they're moving on from. So yeah, maybe they'll put them on some other cool, unique, original stuff. It'd be awesome.
It would be. It would be to again, it happens. It's shitty. It's business. It sucks. But I hope that they do find again, they've got a lot of good stuff too. And they've had a lot of success. I want to keep seeing Bandai doing that kind of stuff and bring back some of their other stuff that they haven't done in a while. So let's hope so. Let's hope so that this is going to be the only time they have to do this. Let's see.
Shout out to Jasper, member for 33 months.
Oh, the Jaspy
says hello, chat. Hello, Jasper. How you doing, Jasper?
Jaspy, I hope you have a great time visiting home, man. I hope. I'm glad you got a small window to finally go home and see everybody, man. I hope you enjoy your time there, brother. So for sure, and safe travels when you leave again.
In the DM, when you said was fun with Silent Hill, did you play the Silent Hill game, or were you talking about the creepy fog area you were in?
Yeah, down by his house.
Okay, all right.
I think that's what it was, but maybe he did play Silent Hill too.
I could have asked, but I didn't bother.
Yeah, you didn't bother. You didn't bother at all. Mav, good news. Good news, Mav. I think the rest of Xbox's dev teams are going to get their solar panels. I think that everybody's going to finally upgraded to solar green type energy, man. You want to know why, Mav? You want to know why?
Because I know why.
You know why. Because Alan Hartman is retiring after 30 years at Microsoft. He is the head of Xbox Game Studios, right? He is retiring. Had a great run. He's out. They are promoting from within, Mav, and they are bringing over Rare's boss, Craig Duncan. And obviously everybody knows that the Everwild team, right? They keep rocking and rolling. Supposedly they're on track. We did get that news, a little hint of that news this week. Supposedly that Everwild development is going good, finally. They're doing well. But the big thing...
figure out what it is?
They must have. But the biggest news out of Rare, outside of Sea of Thieves, has been that they got a brand new solar barn, Mav. That they got the solar, they got the green energy going over at Rare. So maybe all the other studios will now be able to update because Craig Duncan's going to approve them all for that, obviously, if they want to do it. But yeah, news this week is that that's what's happening. So Hartman took on the head of Xbox. This comes from The Verge, by the way, and of course by Tom Warren. And he says that the change in leadership comes less than a year after Hartman took on the head of Xbox Game Studio role after Matt Booty was promoted to an expanded president of game content and studio position. In an email to Xbox employees today, seen by The Verge, Booty shared that Hartman is retiring at the end of November after more than 30 years at Microsoft. Hartman originally started at Microsoft inside the CD-ROM group in 1988 before working on Age of Empires, Brute Force, and the studio head of Digital Anvil. He also helped found Turn 10, of course, the home of Forza Motorsport. Rare studio chief Craig Duncan will take over the role of head of Xbox Game Studios shortly, with Joe Neate and Jim Horth taking over as co-leads of Rare as the team continues to work on Sea of Thieves and the upcoming Everwild action-adventure game. Tom's labeling it action-adventure, Mav, so I guess that might be part of the update, huh?
Yeah.
In his new role, Craig will continue to focus on helping our studios quote, in his new role, Craig will continue to focus on helping our studios deliver high quality, differentiated game experiences that can grow into successful franchises and reach more players by investing in new IP, says Booty. All right. I'm not going to read the whole memo. I don't think it is what it is, but Craig Duncan, man, big news, brother. Rare. And if anybody wants to know, I did a little investigative because I'm like, okay, there's got to be something that connects Craig Duncan beyond he's been just the head of Rare, right? They did an internal. Sure enough, Craig Duncan was at Midway with Booty. So there's your connection. So obviously he's going to be right underneath Booty. You want to have a good relationship with somebody. Booty's obviously worked with Duncan in the past at Midway, so they've got that formation. And on top of they've already worked together because obviously Duncan's been head of Rare, but I'm just saying the old connection is there. So that makes a lot more sense when I found that. I was like, okay, I see you, Booty. All right, I see you. But yeah, Craig Duncan, what do you think, Mav? Anything off the top of your head that Duncan's going to bring that Hartman didn't, that's all of a sudden going to change how things are done at Xbox Game Studios, or is it status quo outside of solar panels?
I have no fucking clue.
Thank you for your analysis, Mav. Appreciate that. We can move on to the next topic.
I don't know. I don't
know.
know. I like all I know about Craig Duncan is that he's the head of Rare. Like I cool. Yeah, I think I don't know anything about the damn Hartman guy either. I think he's been there for 36 years, so obviously he did something that had an impact, but I got no fucking clue. Like the whole barn thing was funny. We were joking around that because like that's all we've seen from Rare recently for new announcements was their greenhouse that they're do they actually make games in that damn thing?
I think it's part of their studio, yes.
Okay. Anyway, it was interesting. So I was joking around, be like, "Oh, cool! They're like they're all gonna get barns and stuff now." And like, anyway, I don't know what kind of impact it's gonna have. Hopefully, it's good. He's had success launching some games. Sea of Thieves, and he has a history that goes older than that and stuff. So, ultimately, yeah, cool,
awesome, perfect.
Yeah. I wish I knew more to give some kind of in-depth analysis.
Who the hell's gonna know?
On
None of us know these heads
on the
like this,
impact of Craig Duncan on the future of Xbox. Like, it's an executive getting promoted because another executive left. Like,
no, I have nothing either. I just threw it to you because I knew you'd be the same.
Maybe one day Craig Duncan will become the new Phil Spencer.
Maybe Craig Duncan's
this is
mad genius scientist that we never knew about. And he's gonna show up and just crush it.
First, he's got to get past Booty and Bond. Then he can come after Phil.
Oh my god. Gonna say, by the way, speaking of Ubisoft, which we mentioned earlier, there's a strike going on at Ubisoft right now too. By the way, one of the main French TV media talked about employees protesting against Ubisoft's decision to cancel working from home. So that's what this is about. The first guy interviewed has been working for Ubisoft for 9 years. He says that he doesn't understand the decision, that they'd always been very effective, even at home. For him, it makes zero sense. Second guy was a representative, and he says that the employees won't be able to release games on schedule if they remove working from home, and that they can't because of personal constraints, having to take care of kids, for example. So anyways, Ubisoft has got a little strike on their hands. So yes, parts of Ubisoft are actually unionized, obviously. So that is happening currently. Mav, got any thoughts on the Ubisoft strike? No, go Ubisoft. All right,
yeah,
go workers, Get your
I'll always root for workers going against corporations. At the same time, though, sometimes I just can't help but laugh at some of these things.
I know.
Because like thinking back to the way things used to be and stuff, like this would not be even a kind of a headline that exists ever.
But it does.
But yeah, so hey, it's because workers keep fighting for these things. So hey, props to them. Fight for your rights to be able to take care of your kids and work. You know?
Exactly.
Man, I just think back at how many times I was left home alone when I was like so young. It's like
I can't.
It's like for me,
sometimes I could totally be compassionate, Mav, and then there's other times where I'm like,
people have kids.
It happens, bro. That's a life decision. Yep, you got to do it, bro. You got to do it. And again,
I would love for every corporation to be able to pay for daycare for your kids. That'd be amazing, right? I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't want to be insensitive, but it's like, hey, cool. They got the right
to strike. So hey,
let's take more from these big corporations.
Yep, absolutely.
They're kicking them while they're down.
If you're gonna give me the true serum, I'm gonna tell you that are there people that certainly work better at home? Absolutely. I would say the vast majority, it's all bullshit and has been from day one. When people try to say, "Oh, I'm so much more efficient at home," bullshit. I'll call bullshit on all of you. Or at least the vast majority of you.
You're just more efficient because you don't have to spend the time putting the pants on.
Right. And because the bathroom's closer. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Anyways, but again, they have the right to strike, so they are on strike. Stalker 2 previews came out, Mav. Now, this is something we definitely need to talk about here.
Yes.
Obviously, this is huge, right? Stalker 2 comes out on November the 10th, is it, Mav?
I
The
think
20th? I can't
November the
remember.
something.
I've lost so many dates in my head because of how many games there are this year that like I can't keep track
Yeah,
anymore.
it's ridiculous.
Launch November 20th. Okay, November 20th. My second
20th.
number was correct. All right. So it comes out on November 20th, but we got the previews. And I gotta say, like, this is kind of a Silent Hill 2 situation a little bit because remember we had the early on hands-on previews behind the scenes for Stalker 2, and people were saying, "Oh, it's it's good. Like, there's stuff there that's really cool, but it's rough." And obviously, nobody was blaming GSC because everybody said, "Well, shit, the fact that they're even still making this game is crazy." So if it's a little rough around the edges, it's kind of expected. I mean, again, the company's been in upheaval. Their country's at war. They've had people of their studio no longer with us anymore because of the war. Like, yeah, it's going to cause some issues in development. But here we are leading up to launch, Mav, and all of a sudden we started getting the previews. We got the previews this week, and I got to say too, Mav, that after I watched the partner program today,
Yeah.
from Xbox, I did also see on YouTube, I saw Paris had done a video version of his preview for Stalker 2. And he had showed, he had like about another 5-10 minutes of gameplay from his preview. But he talked a little bit about what he thought of the game, but he had an interview with one of the devs from GSC Game World 2, getting some new information. So I watched through that, and I was more watching the gameplay, but I was also listening to the dev a little bit too. Really cool stuff. But the previews came out this week, and obviously Jez Gordon over at Windows Central came away with this quote. And I'm just gonna take all the breakdown of the previews from Shinobi 602. Shout out to Shinobi, who does a great job doing this, by the way. He kind of collects everything all together and kind of pulls out the highlighted quotes. But Jez's quote, it stands out amongst all the other ones. And I love Jez. You guys all know this. I love Jez to death. First of all, because he's a gamer after my own heart. He gets super hyped about new shit. A lot of the games that he gets hyped about, where everybody started seeing people do this, go, yeah, but it's Jez, and he doesn't like games that most of us like. Whereas Jez and I like connect on games like a lot. Like games he likes, strategy games, RTS games, and he gets hyped for them. That's how I feel about it. That's how Mav feels about it. But Jez does tend to be a little over the top. But when it comes to new games, his quote was, came away feeling like I played a clear game of the year contender. Like that's
strong quote,
bro. That's
even for Jez.
Yeah, it's massive. Like especially this year. Like I'm looking at the lineup. Like that's why I was asking Psychonauts, because Psychonauts on board with this as well. Even though he hasn't played it, he thinks it could be a game of the year contender. And I'm like, bro, you think this game's going to score in the 90s? Like, because you're looking at this year's lineup of game of the year contenders, you gotta be a 90 plus. Like it's thick with game of the year contenders already. So, but anyways, get back to Stalker 2. Jez said this. I read his article. Yeah, it sounds exactly. Again, you guys know I played Stalker back in the day, one of my buddy's PCs, right? Been a fan of Stalker. This is freaking awesome. On top of everything GSC game, I've been nothing but supportive. Whenever this game comes out, I'm ready. I'm going to be there day one. It's in Game Pass on top of it, but I already said I'm going to buy a copy just to support GSC in this. But let's get to the rest of this stuff. Lefty, and again, this is coming from Shinobi's kind of just breakdown of different people's previews so far. Left the impression that the team at GSC Game World had created something special. That actually came from IGN, I believe. IGN also had a glowing preview for this game. Very much a hostile, dangerous open world like its predecessor. You're free to go pretty much anywhere. Love to hear it. Beautiful. You're talking my language now. Found it refreshing to be challenged with managing resources like ammunition and food to survive. Yes, that's what this game's about. Again, the overarching theme here, also from people, including Paris, the game is hard. Do not think you're going into this as a normal first-person shooter type game, action game, even with RPG element. No, this is a hard survival first-person shooter. You are going to die, okay? It is going to happen to you. That is another thing that a lot of people talked about. Large number of ways to tackle objectives, all out guns blazing, stealth, peaceful route, do a mission at the night for better cover or daytime to see better, etc. Huge here, Mav. Huge. People have been talking about the strategy involved in this game too. And again, everything's talking about day-night cycle. That counts with this type of game. Flexibility in its game design with quests. You could skip different objectives in a mission and stumble your way to goal directly, and the game carries on and it adapts to it. You need to eat or you'll fatigue faster. If you run out of bullets, you can try and use your knife or use the environment to lure enemies into anomalies, etc. NPCs can abrupt NPCs. Now listen to this, folks. They pull this off correctly. Again, this is stuff you don't see in hardly any games. NPCs can abruptly end a quest without rewarding you because you decided to loot the body of their dead friend. Yo, again, if this is the type of AI we're talking about, I don't even care if it's limited to those types of. That's not something every game thinks about. Not every dev implements that type of shit in their games. I love this stuff. And this goes back to the original Stalker 2. This is the consequences of your actions. That's the other thing people talk about. The consequences here are endless sometimes. It feels like every little decision you make can change something in this world sometimes. Firefights are tense and frenetic with your gun sometimes jamming mid-combat, having to bandage up wounds, etc., all while enemies rush or outflank you. Not easy game. Enemies aren't pushovers. You'll die quick if you get careless with how you approach combat. Goes, quote, unexpectedly hard on narrative delivery. Info is divulged through involved conversations with branching dialogue and full voice acting. A lot of options. The world is full of many intersecting systems and emergent gameplay. A mutant rushed a player, for example, while scouting a compound, only to trigger a fire anomaly while running off squealing. You'll see bandits fighting mutants, other stalkers fighting them, or even intervening in a firefight with you. Bethesda stuff, right? Again, random shit happening throughout the world. The AI in the world from the NPCs and the monsters clash together and shit happens, right? Love it. Like, this is so dope. Choosing to help an NPC on a side quest can open up a chain of other quests and evolve into a larger story beat that was completely optional. Again, that comes from the first Stalker. Listen, I said it in the DMs, Mav, when we had started the discussion with Psycho, what he thought was going to score, if it was going to be game of the year. Everybody kind of jumped in from the fam. I think this is, I've in my head, I'm seeing going and looking at like the Metro games, which are high quality versions of Stalker. Really are. Again, half that team is from the original Stalker team. That those games, while really loved by the media, got in the low 80 scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've said all along in my head, an 81 to an 85 meta would be fantastic for this game. If they give the team bonus points for the situation that they've been put in, which again, human nature being human nature, they certainly could be awarded bonus points on this game, which is fine by me. Whatever. Again, I think it gets pushed to an 87, 88. That's where I think its cap is for me. Now, could they pull it out spectacularly and pull off 90s? Absolutely. Of course. I have most faith in GSC. I think they could have. I just see it sitting somewhere in the 80 range, and I think that's a freaking amazing score for this game and for this team if they hit in those 80s. Mav, what do you think about the preview so far that you've heard? Is all this speaking your language too, brother? Are you ready to tackle this? Because again, this is not your typical world. This is going to be a tough survival type FPS in a big open world.
Yeah,
lots to do. What are you thinking about this, sir?
So at first, like when I was thinking of Stalker 2 about like the kind of reception that it's gonna get, right? I think it's gonna be given like proper consideration for everything, obviously, for that the development of that game has gone through when people are looking at it and playing it. But now obviously the game still has to stand on its own, right? And be a great game. But I always kind of consider that maybe some of the reviews or previews or whatever aren't going to be like as harsh with specific things, just like over like harping on specific things, just because like obviously everything that they've had to deal with. But This is obviously not that. This is going out of their way to like highlight extra praise upon like, wow, this thing was impressive. And it goes beyond like, hey, we want this game to succeed. It leads more into like they were actually like really kind of taken back really about what the team has achieved. And that's awesome to hear. I I kind of predicted before and I was kind of on board with this and still like I think the game was probably going to score somewhere in the 80 to low 80s, high 70s to low 80s, right? And that's just kind of what my mentality was, mainly because of the kind of game that it is, right? This is not like the typical game that goes and gets super high praise because of the survival aspects of it, because of the realism of it, because like it's not typical kind of game like that. Like usually the games that get this high praise are these specific genres of games that these critics just kind of like glowingly will praise a lot, even sometimes if it's not really moving the formula forward or anything like that. It's just like, hey, another one that's awesome. Like, yeah, let's love it, love it, love it, love it, right? But this is not that kind of game. This is very unique, right? They're doing a lot of things differently, and I don't think it's going to resonate with everybody, like in all the critics and stuff. So that's why I kind of sat there with my score. I think it could be deservingly of that. But if it actually shows up and leaves that kind of mark with people, then you're talking about something special, right? You're talking about something that is special. And that can sway if it's actually transcending the genre, transcending the kind of game that it is by uh being so good that it makes people fans of something now, right? That is where you get that special sauce, right? That's when you get that kind of game that's like other games will then go and try and become, right? And maybe they've achieved that. I don't know if they've achieved it or not. I'll tell you one thing. After reading these previews and seeing some of the conversation and talk about it, my hype level has increased significantly for Stalker 2. I was already hyped for it. I think it's been one of these of like it's gonna either be great or it's just gonna be good. Like don't really know where it's gonna sit. But the graphics look great. The open world stuff like is awesome. When you start talking about divergent quests that spin off into other long storylines and all that kind of stuff, then you're like, that's talking another level for me, right? That's talking about this being more of like Western RPG meets great shooter survival experience. Like, I'm really intrigued by it. Maybe, just maybe, is it possible that this team, through all of this, it was the extra time that they've been giving and the extra maybe passion that they've had to put into this project has turned out to be something that could actually be that level. If Stalker 2 wins Game of the Year, one of the biggest stories of all time in gaming.
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah!
Like it just in general, like it just with everything that they've done. Yeah, this year has been insane. But like just that even that conversation, that talk happening is very promising that maybe this game, even where I was sitting and have been kind of still in my mind, just knowing the journalists, knowing the kinds of games that they like, knowing all and where I was gonna sit with my prediction on kind of where they are at. Maybe it's that special enough to go beyond that. And if it is, then it's going to achieve something amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for that. I'm rooting for this team. The documentary, again, I recommend everybody go watch the documentary about the studio. It's called War Games or War Game. And the lady that came on became part of the studio is the head of the studio's wife, right? One of the brothers became the head of the studio after the other brother left, and it was his wife. He asked her to come in for a few days. She ended up showing up there and stayed there throughout all of this. Ended up kind of becoming like a great studio manager is what the best thing I could say about watching that documentary is seeming like this is a studio that generally cares about the development of the game and also the people that work at the studio, right? If you want an example of like an awesome way a company is ran, to watch that documentary, and you'll see the passion from the developers is in the right place, right? But also the way that she directed and led everything, and created this culture there just kind of is awesome. I love the culture of the studio and positive culture, positive environment, even through hell, even through going through everything that they've been having to go through, being split up, moving, traveling, at the drop of a hat, having to move, and then finally getting things back on track. Then you have to go and rehire all new cast and stuff. All these things that they've been through. Seemingly, they did it still with the main goal of delivering a great game for the players and doing right by the franchise, and not letting themselves have an excuse to deliver something less than. Like, they're passionate about delivering an amazing game and passionate about the people that are making it. So, I hope they succeed. I hope it's awesome. But, like, we'll see when it comes out, man.
I
November
think it's going to
20th.
be. I think it's going to be. And it'll be the first time that a lot of people play a Stalker game. A lot of people are going to obviously have played Metro before, but again, even Metro is
Yeah, Metro's highly praised and lauded,
it
but it's
is.
still fed in the low 80s, right? So
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I'm
still in the
kind
low
of
80s. But I will say that Stalker is going to offer a different, even in a different experience
yeah.
than Metro, especially just from the previews. Again, I don't know. I haven't had hands on, but from the previews, they captured the original Stalker,
Mhm.
which a lot of these people nowadays, there is going to be a set of people that have played Stalker. But there is going to be a bigger set that have never played Stalker. Their only reference is going to be Metro, but they're going to play Stalker 2. And if this holds true, if these previews hold true, the decisions and the consequences that Stalker 2 is seemingly bringing over from Stalker 1 is going to be different and special, that sets it apart from Metro franchise, right? It is going to be on another level, some of the stuff that we're hearing from these previews, which goes back to why the original Stalker game was such a mind-blowing experience for people back in the day, because we just didn't have games that did that to the degree that it did. And it's going to be, Metro can be difficult too, but I think this is going to be even more difficult than that. So
Yeah.
again, it's gonna. I think people are going to give it a chance, and I think we're going to see some new Stalker fans out there that never played Stalker games before, the original Stalker game. And I hope that this opens up for GSC to make some DLC, because some of their DLC for the original Stalker games were some of the best DLC too. I hope they do that as well, and I hope this is that successful. Again, I'm just doing my predictions because we were talking about, could this be game of the year quality, like Jez is saying. I absolutely, they have it in them to do it. If they pull it off, like Mav said, in the middle of everything that they've gone through, holy shit, that's on a whole nother level, man. Like, that is like ridiculous. And again, to go from where we hear what we were hearing early on from people who got to touch the game behind the scenes at some of the game shows just earlier this year, there were some people saying, yeah, it's got something, but man, it's not, it's a little rough. If they take that, again, shout out to
Yeah.
GSC Game World. I can't wait though. As an old school Stalker fan, I can't wait to jump back into this game and see what they've done with it. And again, everything that's being talked about in the previews, speaking to me. Again, open world, go anywhere, explore. You get rewarded for exploring. This AI that they've seemingly implemented from the NPCs, the decisions, the consequences, opening up, like you said, Mav, whole different lines of or whole different quests that you could have just ignored or just missed just by talking to somebody. Yes, yes, and more. Yes, I can't wait. November 20th. Let's go. It's gonna be fun. So, yeah, shout out to Stalker 2 on the previews, man. Sounds like we got something special coming, no matter what.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Sounds like it's gonna be solid at least, right?
So
So
it could be solid, yeah. Oh, and it's gonna be beyond solid. I think it's definitely gonna hit those 80s, and again, that's great for them. And again, the only reason I'm talking about scores is because I'm just talking about the general conversations, because it is going to be Xbox console exclusive. right? So the general conversations around that, we know how that goes. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think a lot of people are going to jump into it, and a lot of PC people who remember the original Stalker. There's a big fan base over there. I think this game's going to do really well.
Is it 20th too late to be considered for a game of the
I
year?
think so, yes.
Yeah,
Normally the first week and a half of November, like the 10th or something like that, that it has to be out. Yes. But we'll see. I don't know if Keely's actually
if it's actually at that level, that'd be a shame. That they miss it by that few days.
Yep. But it could happen. We've seen it past. So
we'll see.
If
it's in the 90s for that kind of scope of game,
bro, it'd be nuts.
Yeah, that would be insane. But like games that are generally kind of like soccer just usually don't review that high.
They don't.
You know.
Again, they are because there's just some people who just don't enjoy that, especially with the difficulty level and the survival aspect of it. There are going to be some people who just don't dig that game, and that's fine. But again, that's always been my problem with the reviews. You put somebody on there who doesn't dig that style game, yeah, they're going to affect the score overall. But anyways, it is what it is. We're going to find out. It's going to be we're a short ways away, about a month away. We'll have reviews, I'm sure. Oh man, good on them though. Again, really impressed by the previews. That's about all I got, Mav. I mean, again, we got some small stuff. I mentioned it earlier that Space Marine 2 hit 4.5 million players. We found out that shout out to Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, shout out to Steel Rain and all the other Dragon Ball fans out there who have been waiting on this comeback from the fighting series, and people are loving it to the tune of 3 million copies sold in the first 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we had Metaphor Refantasio hit 1 million in their first 24 hours. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, a fighting game, a hard-ass fighting game, got 3 million sold in 24 hours. Fighting games are back, Mav.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Is this going to surpass like Tekken sales and Street Fighter 6? I mean, did it already? Like
the power of Dragon Ball, you put out a good game that gets everybody hyped up, and this is what you get. And I've seen Steel in his highlights and what he's doing. I mean, the game is the game's like playing it's playing the anime. I mean, it's ridiculous how they fit all the cutscenes in, like in between the action, and how it all works out, like with all the powers and stuff. It's nuts. Like, again, it's not anything I'm going to ever touch, but it's freaking amazing. And the amount of characters and stuff, it's got everybody. And the mods that are already out there, I've seen Steel using a bunch of mods already to change his characters up. Like, yeah, man, this could go on to be one of the biggest fighting games sales-wise in a long-ass time. Who knows? Got a lot of fans, bro. Crazy, bro. Space Marine 2 also did announce their free post-launch content. So they gave up the seasons. They launched a whole new trailer showing off some of the new stuff that is going to be in it. Space Marine 2's got legs, bro. Space Marine 2 is going to be around for a while, especially if they nail this post-launch content that they're talking about. I could see people jump into Space Marine 2 for a long time to come as well, which is great. So again, Season 2 is going to have a new PvE mission. Lethal difficulty is going to be added. They're going to have a new pistol, a new enemy, Season 3, PvE mission, PvP mode, PvP arena, PvE prestige ranks, battle barge expansion, and more. Like, they've got it all laid out. So if this team continues to nail it, we could see Space Marine 2 have long legs that just continues to sell, and we could see them passing 5 million shortly, and then onwards and upwards to 7 million, 8 million in the next year or so. Really good stuff from Space Marine here.
Yep.
Anything else you want to touch on, Mav?
Nah, man, we're good to go. I think fun show. Lots of awesome stuff. That partner preview show again was awesome. Did you say what was the score you gave it again?
8.5. I'll just say 8.25. I'll say
8.25. Okay, right on. Cool.
Yep. I do have to ask you this, man.
Yes.
Did you wind up buying the Black Ops 6 wrap or the controller wrap?
Not yet. Yes, probably. I want it. I really want it. I have the Starfield wrap on my Xbox. So I like I said before, my thinking with the wraps was that I wanted to eventually like start have a collection of them and
Sure.
stuff, but like I think this is only the second game they've done one for, isn't it?
Like officially, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, there's other companies doing wraps, but I think officially this, yeah.
Yeah, for like the Xbox official wrap. Yeah, I think because I know they have the other like generic ones, but like yeah, I want to get it, and I want the Elite controller too, but I don't know. I don't want to get another Series 2 controller. They got to have a Series 3 coming out at some point.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
It's so weird, man. I just don't understand some of the decisions sometimes. I just really do. I'd love to be in these meetings. I'd love to know the ins and outs of what actually causes them to decide to do something. Why would you not have more wraps when you sell your wraps like crazy? When you put them out, you're making money. Sure, they're not the biggest money makers in the world, but you're making money off each one of those wraps. I know you are.
Yeah,
Why would you not have wraps?
maybe the Starfield one didn't sell as well as they wanted, or maybe the Call of Duty one will. I don't know.
I can't imagine, bro. I can't imagine that it's not. I just think it's weird, and I just think it's weird that they do these custom consoles, and they know they could sell custom consoles, but they don't. Even if they did them super limited, like they'd sell out, like they could charge astronomical prices, and it would sell out. The SpongeBob one sold out at Best Buy instantaneously. It was ridiculously overpriced for SpongeBob, fucking Series X. Like they could do. It just doesn't make sense. I'd love to know the numbers. I'd love to hear the conversations of why they don't. But all right, let's get everybody out of here. Then Mav, a great 3-hour show tonight for another Thursday episode of PM in the PM Pog and Mav in the PM. Thank you all for being here, a part of this show. Mav, let's talk to him, brother. We're gonna do Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night, and anything else? You got any streams planned? Anything else special going on?
Tomorrow, yes, we will have Xbox Ultimate. I have a couple games I want to get to stream as well, so I keep saying that, but I end up putting them off for whatever reason. This weekend, look forward to a couple game streams. And yeah, we'll be back Monday for FSP at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll just be having a lot of games to play because next week freaking Call of Duty comes out also. Insanity.
Is the Ultimate Edition of Call of Duty a week early too, or no? Or are they just doing straight access?
I can't hear you. Like,
sorry, is Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Is Black Ops? Are they doing early access for the Ultimate Edition on Black Ops, or is it just a straight? Is that what Phil was talking? Everybody gets it at the same time.
I think everybody gets it at the same time.
Okay, that's what I thought so too. Okay,
yeah. So I'm just playing on
October,
Game Pass.
October 25th, it will be out at 9 o'clock Pacific time, which means it'll be 11 o'clock here for us. October 24th, I should say. October 24th. So we get it the 24th at 11 o'clock Central Time. So it'll be at midnight Eastern Time because they did. That's for the PCs. Now I don't know if the consoles are different, but no matter what, we'll be playing on PC.
Yeah,
I'll have it on both, but obviously this year being on Game Pass, I'm gonna try it on PC too. So
yeah, and Kate had to make sure I remember, honey. I remember, babe.
What?
Sunday is our 17th wedding anniversary.
Ooh, yeah. Congratulations, you two.
Yeah.
You guys are too young to have your 17th. You're literally going to be that old couple that's like celebrating 75 and like the whole city comes out and is like, oh my God. Like, you're like in the national news, like 75th anniversary for Kate and Brandon down in Texas. Look at these two. Look at how great they are. Aren't they cute? It's literally like, you don't hear about those, but you guys are going to be one of the long ones. It's going to be nuts. Can't wait.
Yeah, we will. We've been together since I was 18 and she was 16.
Yeah, I know.
So, like the anniversary then, that would be 23 years, I guess, if you look at it that way.
It's true. 16 is when you went official, though. I mean, she was 13 at one time when you first started hitting her up. Oh, we're not gonna even go there. Oh man. Anyways, listen, y'all. You know how to find me, Pongsaw on Xbox, Pongsaw on the Xbox, Pongsaw on Steam, GOG, and Epic, wherever. Find me, I'll follow you back. And then of course, I'm going to try to make Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night if I can. I'll certainly try to be there. And that starts right here on the same channel, Fun Speculation Network, Xbox Ultimate, where the family gets together. We have lots of laughs. We also have lots of good talk, no matter how many of us are there. And it's now at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. So be there tomorrow night for that. And then, of course, Saturday morning, buckle up, get ready, Living Split Screen, live, raw, and Uncut with another one of my favorite freaking people in the whole wide world, Mr. Steel Rain. I can't wait to hear all of his Dragon Ball Z stories because he's got them. He's already been posting shit about it, so I can't wait to hear what he's been doing. He might be going pro. We'll see. But anyways, we're going to have a good time on Living Split Screen Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3+ hours. Get ready, get your seats early, and buckle up for that one. We'll take you from your morning to your afternoon to your evening, depending on where you are in the world. You know how Steel and I like to go. So be there for that. And then, of course, Saturday night, back at it, the Shop Podcast PTK Blam's channel. It's Blam, it's Fuzzy, it's myself, and we usually have a guest or two. I don't know if he's announced a guest yet or not this week, but we will be back Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. The best way to end your Saturday night. Have us on in the background while you're playing some freaking amazing games. Nice chill show for a couple of hours. And then next week it starts all over again. Tuesdays, it's Double Barrel Gaming, the channel. Mr. Boomstick, the man, 5 days a week, but Tuesdays, all good things green. Xbox Factor Podcast. Join that crew over there, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. And of course, my week starts right here Thursday next week with this guy, this cool ass guy right here, the one and only Mav, for PM in the PM next week. Episode 136 next week, everybody. Again, thank you all for being here. Nothing but love and respect. You guys make the show go. You are as much a part of the show as we are. Appreciate you all. But it is the golden age of gaming. So please have a great Friday. Have a great start to your weekend. Get out there, enjoy some of this amazing gaming. Play what you love what you play. And I'll talk to you all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Have a good night. Bye. This is the one. Here we go.
You got the right one? Okay.